Yes, we need a code. That's the missing link. That's why I'm trying to write one. A lot of people have asked me, well, Fuller, where's the whole code? I say there's no such thing as a whole code in anything until what? All problems are solved. So black people, since we have been denied everything that makes sense for so long, we should, to compensate for that, try to do everything that makes sense. That's the yin and yang of it. If you've been taught from birth that you are supposed to be, that you, first of all, are genetically inferior, so therefore you're also stupid, and you're supposed to remain stupid. I think as Dr. Kathy Hughes has said, used to use the term SOS, stuck on stupid. Well, the white supremacist says, yes, if you're black, you're supposed to be stupid. You're supposed to be stupid all the time. You don't do anything that ever makes sense because you're black. And you're a black person, every move that you make all day long and everything that you look forward to doing is going to be super stupid because you're black. Now, if we're going to have a repair job, we should take just the reverse. Everything that we do is going to be constructive. See, if we study, many black people have been in what we call prison. In the textbook that I've written, I call it greater confinement, because we are born in prison. The system of white supremacy is the only government we've ever known. So that's a prison system itself. So we're treated like prisoners. We're assigned cell blocks. I mean, even the architecture where they build, where black people are, kind of follows the prison, what we call the greater confinement pattern. Wire, concrete, everything hard, no grass. In fact, some so-called prisons, what we call prisons, Angola, Alcatraz and all like that, it's got some grass growing on some of them because they have the prisoners take care of the lawns and whatnot. With where black people are, even all over the world, what we call the mother countries and all like that. One of the first things you notice, where there's a lot of people, there's a lot of mud, roads, just where most of the huts are and whatnot. No grass, no well-tailored lawns of any kind, just dirt and sand, okay? Now, most prisons look like that, in particular in the old days. Back when they had the gray walls, that was long before they started polishing floors and all like that and making the prisons look better, which is what they have done for black people worldwide. We're still in a prison, all of us, and they have made the prison look better, all right? But we're still in prison because we can't go here and go there. We have to get permission to do everything, get permission in all 9 areas of activity to do anything from the prison masters, who are always white. The prison masters are white. So we act like prisoners. What do prisoners do when they're allowed to go out in the yard and stay and mill around for a while? Because that's all black people do when we get together. We're always talking about black people need to get together. What do we do when we get together? We mill around looking at each other, and then at a certain point, we don't like what we're looking at, meaning us. And then we do what? Find a reason to start an argument. That's what we do better than anything. Find a reason to start an argument. We do that. All you have to do is just get a bunch of us together, and we don't know what to do when we get together except just mill around like prisoners in a prison yard. That's what they do. Just mill around. They ain't got no plans for nothing. So they're just walking from one wall to the other, and that's what we do. Just walk from one wall to the other, one street to the other, one yard to another, one room to another, until we get tired of that. Then we pay attention to what? Each other. And once we pay attention to each other, we find something that we don't like, because we don't like ourselves. We've been trained not to by the white supremacists. So what we do is start what? Not a constructive conversation about doing anything constructive. We start some type of criticism, some type of name calling, usually in the form of some type of joke that turns out not be a joke. And then it turns into some kind of insult of some type. And even at barbecues and all like that, next thing you know, you go from arguments to what? The logical course of an argument is what? Next, a fight. And go from a fight to what? killing. And then the white supremacists already know that in their prison yard. They know their prisoners are going to get out there in the prison yard. They stay out there long enough, bumping into each other. A fight is going to start. And then if they got any kind of shank, as they call them, behind walls, any kind of weapon, they're going to use that on each other. And then the prison masters have to come in, as usual, and clean up the mess. And wherever you find black people, you find black people with young people saying what? Like when I turn on the TV every day, or if I turn it on even 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, with the kind of situation we have always had, it's a black lady sitting there talking about, I got to get out of this neighborhood. Well, you're always talking about black people getting together, so y'all together, okay? But what do we do when we get together? Find a way to start killing each other. That's what we do. We're going to find a way, because that's all we know. I mean, we run out of things to do, which is what prisoners do, run out of things to do. You don't have a plan for the future or nothing, so you turn on each other. The white supremacists know that. This is why all over the world, not just here, not just Chicago and Washington, D.C., and Cleveland, Ohio, San Diego, California, wherever, not just there, but everywhere you find black people. And most of them are trying to get away from each other after they spend all that time trying to get with each other. Because we don't know what to do when we get with each other, except fight. Because that's what we've been trained to do by the white supremacists, and we don't even know it. Because that's what prisoners of war do. They have low self-esteem. So they can't stand themselves, and they can't stand anybody who looks like them, looks like us. We can't stand anybody that looks like us. And we can't stand us when we look in the mirror, because we don't like nothing that we see, because we are not in charge of nothing. That's why, including ourselves. And we keep lying to ourselves like we are not in that position, and that is even worse insanity than being insane, when you start lying to yourself about the truth. So we turn on each other in answer to the person's question. And the code says we have to learn that we are that way. So what do you do about it? Don't get with another black person unless you have something constructive to say or do. Now, if you don't remember anything else that's said in this program, because we've been talking about the problem all this time, almost for 2 hours, like we do every time. But I like to talk about the code says it's about problem solving. So how do you solve that problem? Black people are always turning on each other. Every time we get together, everybody starts an argument, and the next thing you know, we do what we do best, turn on each other, go at each other full tilt. And then the white supremacists have to come in and clean up the shell casings all over the place, all right? And then we're pleading with them, please, master, get me out of here. Get me out. I got to get straight out of Brooklyn. I got to get straight out of Compton. I got to get straight out of what, boy? Straight out of what, gal? Straight out of where people that look like me are, because it's hell here. Every time we get together, it's hell. Master, please send me somewhere else. Well, somewhere else like where, boy? Don't you like being with your own people? Send me where you at. Okay, you want to come where I am? Yeah, because it's safe over there. It makes more sense over there. People act like they got a little bit of sense. I want to go there. So we move there, okay? And then what do? I kind of miss my homies, you know? I kind of miss them. I don't know how to relate to these white folks. So what do? You petition and say, we need to bring some black people in here. Those are the same black people you just got through running from. Like right now, as we talk, all over the world, I'm talking about all over the world now, black people. Black people are asking one question, many of them, the most educated ones. Let me out of here, away from these other black people. Which way did the white people go? I got my babies in my arms, one in each arm, and I'm getting on the first boat that look like it ain't got a lot of leaks in it, and take me across this ocean and find some white folks somewhere so that I can get my life together, start my life all over again, because it is pure hell wherever you find people that look like me. After I spent all my life trying to get with them, now I got to spend the rest of my life trying to get away from them, because they're giving me hell, people that look like me. Now, either I'm telling the truth, or the stuff that I read and hear and see ain't there, because I'm going by what I see. And what I have always seen, I have never, ever seen it any different from that. Period. Now, some people have said they've seen some cards.
Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. 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 I didn't want to see it neither. And I love everybody. I'm just Kev, but at some point of our lives, nigga got to wake up and say, bro, all 9 areas of activity, all of them. You feel me? That's why I got back on this computer, because I'm giving 179.7% more. That's why. 2 times a fucking day. White supremacy work hard every day. You better, you nigga, in all 9 areas, nigga, you better pick one. you, you better pick one. Champion. We was all deceived, champion. All of us. We went through slavery, whoop-de-womp, they fucking up hip-hop. And the truth is, man, they don't turn us against us, like Pac said. Perhaps they hide the way you explain genocide is when you ride on your own kind. I said Holocaust. When we get to the genocide breeding, nigga, you get to the 80s, the late 70s and 80s and see the 80s babies grow up. The Nip say the tiny locs, the munchy bees, that's what you see on the internet. Your Aunt Hefes, press 1. These niggas, and I say niggas, but I mean my brothers though. But I'm saying that's where we come from, my niggas. Like, damn, we was born in this? Yeah. Last of a dying breed. Press 1. Last of a dying breed. We should be honored to live in this time. This is like the movie 300. Yes, sir. Hey, you feel me, Mr. Success Builder? This is like the movie 300. Man, you can be president. You can be anything you want in the white man's world, like Tupac say, right? But it really is an Aryan world. Y'all see them out there trying to defend Elon Musk? Bruh, they out there like, look, where my screen? They out there like, nigga, that wasn't the Nazi Roman salute, nigga. That's retarded. Press 1. They like, listen. They like the Nazis is out here. Hey, who with them? Who trying to prove it? Indians, Germans. No, that wasn't the. No, man, that was the Roman one. That happened way back then. This one is all going down. I never thought I will see it on like this. This is like, wow. They're defending this. Of course they are. They worship Elon. Elon is the savior that they was waiting for. He's the God of this one and that one. He's going to connect AI, and he ain't doing nothing. But they think. I can sit back and watch America become German in no time, in the blink of an eye. How the milkman can go from a porter to a banker in the blink of an eye. Press 1. Easy work. Floyd Mayweather around the cosmic universe of the meta world. Would you say you want to hear another one? Press 1. This is truth. This is all truth. Hold up.
On that cell phone. MF this and MF that. And I told that MF and to the culture of white people, not just the youngsters. Well, any effort that will help black people to think about what they are doing and why they are doing it, and that's black people, not just the youngsters and all like that, but that's black people in general throughout the entire world.
What about it?
We don't have an agenda. We don't have a reason for existence that makes sense. We don't have a culture that makes sense. Because if you just look at the essence of black culture, you can't even enumerate what it is, except a reaction to the culture of white supremacy. If the white supremacists are not holding us by the ear,
Run his back. Run his back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Talk to him.
that will help black people to think about what they are doing and why they are doing it. And that's black people, not just the youngsters and all like that, but that's black people in general throughout the entire world.
That's right.
We don't have an agenda. We don't have a reason for existing that makes sense. We don't have a culture that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Because if you just look at the essence of black culture...
And we all know from DJ Quick, if it don't make dollars, it don't... Look at you. Universe 25. Press 1. Universe 25 code. So you got to make it make sense. You know, y'all go over and subscribe to Hip Hop Cartoons. This brother has taken a real gift of animation and applied it to some of the best speeches I've ever heard from the 60s and 70s and stuff like that. I must request that everybody go help this brother any way possible. Because that's all we need to do is work with each other.
Because if you just look at the essence of black culture, you can't even enumerate what it is, except a reaction to the culture of white supremacy.
Damn.
If the white supremacists are not holding us by the ear and say, okay, come here, fella, come here, okay, come with me, do this, do that, okay, when you finish doing this, I got another project for you.
I don't... Ooh, this gonna hurt. This gonna hurt a lot of you.
Okay, when you finish doing this, I got another project for you. Now, we make sense when they are orchestrating what we are doing. You know, come over here and operate this machine. Okay, enough of that. Come down here and drive this vehicle. Okay, all right, enough of that. Come over here and build this bridge. Okay, enough of that. All right, now I'm going to allow you a little free time. See, once we get that free time, because, you know, the slave mentality is, hey, I'm not supposed to have free time. Somebody's supposed to be telling me what to do.
Oh, Lord. Oh, this guy's brilliant for these cartoons. Look just like them niggas in Universe 25. Woo! I'm not supposed to have free time. Somebody's supposed to be telling me what to do. Ooh, that's real. That's white supremacy. White power. Press one. Woo wee. You can't do this for yourself and have no free time? Oh, hell no. Because when I do.
So when I don't know, somebody's not telling me what to do every minute of my entire existence, I got no idea about what to do. I don't even know what I'm existing for. So then we fall into what we call the black culture.
I'm sorry.
About what to do. I don't even know what I'm existing for. So then we fall into what we call the black culture stereotype, which is violence against other black people.
Now wait, Sean Baum, you should be a YouTuber then. Come on to YouTube. Come on. You got fired for laughing on the job. You should have been the first one up here talking about, Kev, I need to do some homework. How can we make this work? Niggas do some homework. Press one, get your ass on your screen, and let's build something. I tried to tell him, y'all. Didn't I? Hey, this is for us, but no. He yelling at me. Fuck that, bungalow. I told him, come on, let's get into it. The people love us. I don't took the sacrifice. Nigga, ain't you nigga lost a job? A job, nigga. We lose jobs. Niggas lose jobs every day, B. I'm sorry. Nigga used to be OW on white supremacy. Because one, you can lose your job, but if you was right here, you had something, and we built our community up and built real estate and property and these things and business, you motherfucker can't fire you. You feel me? This is use your gifts that God gave you to sustain yourself. And don't ask for nothing more than what you can bear. You know,
And when I say violence, I mean verbal violence.
I'm not a rich man. My bank account go like this. That motherfucker do seesaw. Nigga do the motions up and down like a seesaw, like Nip. But, you know, if you ain't been through it, how you gonna know how to balance a budget? You know, KevRow.
Listen to black people walking down the street on their cell phone. If you don't believe it, if you think I'm making it up, listen to black people walking down the street on their cell phone.
That was me right there. Hey, look just like me too, huh, y'all? Nigga, that was so Kev, nigga, on everything. Bitch, nigga, when you see me, you heard that new album? Nigga, that's how I'm getting down. But no, look, that was us right here on the screen. That looked like my character on the TV. I know him. Oh, I know that guy right there. They don't matter. Why is my life hilarious? Oh my goodness. How do you know? Nigga, I've been looking this way since I was 15. Nigga, bald head, scallywag, ain't never had no hair in the back. Press one. I'm mad as hell at the Hebrew Israelites. I'm like, I gotta grow hair and all this beard shit. My shit is grow the way it grows. Shut the fuck up. Press one. Before I start reading Bible verses and destroy y'all shit, you ain't gonna say this ain't me. This is cold. I see where he got the idea. Press one. Cold nigga, but that was me right there. On the cell phone, I think that's a Samsung Galaxy S6 or some shit. Press one. Definitely not an iPhone.
Listen to black people walking down the street on their cell phone. MF this and MF that. And I told that MF, and you know, and I told, and then that's
Guilty.
Both males and females. The female saying, Keisha came over to my house and she come up with all that S and started talking about this and whatnot, and you know, and she came over there telling me about Vanessa, and Vanessa is my sister, and I don't allow nobody to say nothing about my sister. This is, you know, from the back of the bus, cell phone talk, all hostile, nothing pleasant, phone talk, nothing
Let me
about
see.
and she come up both.
He not even, Nelly Fuller ain't even talking about us. Press one. But he is. Lord have mercy, he called this shit.
Males and females. The female saying, Keisha came over to my house and she come up with all that S and started talking about this and whatnot, and you know, and she came over there telling me about Vanessa, and Vanessa is my sister, and I don't allow nobody to say nothing about my sister. This is, you know, from the back of the bus, cell phone talk, all hostile.
All of it.
Nothing pleasant.
Nothing pleasant.
Not one word of civility out of all of it, wherever you find black people. Nothing being said that makes any sense at all. Nothing that is constructive in any way.
Have y'all been on Clubhouse?
And so
nothing constructive. Everything on Pyru, everything on Crip.
we have to have a constructive culture. So the first step toward remedying that, black people shouldn't come in contact with each other at all under any circumstance unless they have a constructive agenda. That's the key.
Bitch nigga, walk with a switch nigga. Why you switch nigga, talk high pitch nigga?
Shit.
Get niggas. Blah, blah, blah.
Shit.
Yes, it's to be expected. This is to be expected. But we should understand, first of all, that we are programmed this way. Black people are toxic. All of us are toxic.
That's right.
We are loaded with poison because the system of white supremacy puts that poison in us even before we are born. And when we're born into the system of white supremacy.
Talk to
We're
him.
not born into a system of la-la land. We're born into the system of white supremacy.
Fool.
The system of white supremacy is designed for everyone, including black people themselves, to have a hostile position, a hostile thought
Nigga.
toward anything dark, and particularly dark people. That's just the way the world is run.
That's the way we
That's
raised.
the way the white supremacists have set it up before any of us were born.
Damn.
So we have to, first of all, know that.
We got to
So we
know that.
all carry that poison.
That's
it's
poison.
in us. We're not aware of it,
Come on.
in one sense, you might say. I mean, then in another sense, we are aware of it, but
Come on.
we're in denial.
Come on.
But we have to admit, first of all, we have this poison. And then we immediately should jump to, what do we do about it?
This poison.
Well, the first thing you do, you don't want poison to spread. That's just a part of physics, the laws of mathematics. If you got poison on hand, you don't want the poison to spread. How do you keep the poison from spreading? You make sure that every contact that every black person makes with every other black person has a plan beforehand to do something constructive. Do or say something constructive. Don't get on the cell phone and call anyone just to make conversation. That's an old part of the what you might call black culture or people culture, for that matter. With some people, it works. With most people, particularly black people in the northwestern hemisphere, it's poisonous. It is deadly. You don't pick up that cell phone and call anyone
Nobody.
ever just to chat. Hey, girl, I haven't heard from you in a little while. What's going on? No, absolutely. That is poison. Poisonous. In other words, our minds are poison. The things that we are getting ready to say to people
It's
is
poison.
loaded with poison.
That's right.
The way that we look at people, the way that we see the world, loaded with poison. The poison was planted in us. So every time we make contact with anything, we just spread poison because we're loaded with poison. And if we are contacting other black people, they are loaded with poison and dynamite. And you're going to get an explosion unless you tailor and suppress that poison and tailor it in such a way that it's kind of shunted off to the side or it doesn't manifest itself. I mean, when we make these contacts. So I have it in the book, the textbook for victims of white supremacy. No contact, no conflict. If you minimize the contact, you minimize the conflict. Black people themselves know, if you just stop and think about it for a few minutes. You ever know?
Hey, you know what I just peeped about Nellie Fuller's book? Remember I told y'all I was meditating on Nellie Fuller? And I went to sleep. Let's put it like that. I went to sleep. Right? And I told y'all I was an atom at the end of the universe. I said I was an atom at the edge of the universe. And I came up against the ropes of the fabrics of life, the string theory, per se. And everything that holds it together. Be quiet, Sean, in the back. Be quiet. And I said that I woke up and was like, knowing everything changed. Everything had changed. Right? I'm like, and then the next day, I capture all those photos first thing in the morning of the sun. You feel me? Y'all remember that, right? And we couldn't figure out what that was inside the sun that I captured. But it's crazy how looking at Nellie Fuller's book, maybe he got some type of codes or something in this shit. What the fuck is this? I need to buy the book. Maybe his book is what, nigga, the 9, because we was talking about the 9. We was talking about Justice, Lady Justice, in the areas in which she controls that keep us doing, and within the restrictions of law and keep us under them, right? I remember it. Sometimes it's hard to explain because I got so much in my brain. But I'm not leaving no areas unturned because I actually captured that. Press one. But now that I'm looking in the inside of the sun, that kind of look like his shit. Am I tripping? Look, I don't know what it is, right? But it kind of looked eerily similar, being that that's what I was listening to. Nelly Fuller, I kind of went to sleep. I just saw that. I'm like, hold on. We get back to that.
Just how well you get along with somebody you haven't seen in 15 years.
You said black people need to stay away from each other. Since you brought up black people in your last statement, why did you say that black people need to stay away from each other unless there's going to be some productivity?
Yes, black people should stay away from each other because as victims of racism, the racists have filled our minds full of poison. So whenever we come in contact with each other, the poison immediately begins to spread. Black people walk around full of poison. You can almost see it in our eyes. When we pass each other on the sidewalks, we're loaded with it. It's been put there. We weren't born with it. We didn't have that look in our eyes.
That's right.
When we were little people.
That's right.
Just little toddlers.
Innocent.
We were wide open to the world.
That's right.
Just like all people
And
are.
that's what made me relatable to my brothers in jail, because I saw how innocent they. Remember, I was telling y'all, how am I going to relate with these niggas? Because this shit they talking about is boring. Remember, I told you I started talking about wrestling, and everybody in the dorm started talking about wrestling, the Mexicans, the SAs, black folk, Bloods, and Crips, niggas from the pen. Like, it turned into like a little Whomper room, and I saw it. Like, damn, who fucked us up? I was asking, remember we used to watch this? Remember? Who turned us into like smooth criminals and shit? Somebody helped me understand, like, bro, you saw their innocence, bro. Because when I was done with that is when I caught the Holy Ghost, per se. You know, when I went home and really prayed for these people, because that was insane. That I saw something different. The world see numbers and tattoos and shit. I was like, damn, they fucked us up. I remember we was in elementary. We wasn't thinking like that. Y'all wasn't thinking like that. Look, we all watch wrestling. Look, we all got the same. Look, I got a chance to see the genuine smiles and the genuine like innocence for a second. Like, damn. And he's right. We don't got that. We don't got that. We look at each other like it's an issue. Unless it's something we can relate on.
You're a toddler. But when you are in an evil system, a system that is designed deliberately to produce evil thoughts, to produce animosity, to produce violence, then that toddler, as he or she grows, begins to pick up the poison that's already here.
Facts.
And then the poison is spread as that person comes in contact, particularly with persons of like persuasion. This is why black people sitting on a bus, you can almost feel the atmosphere of hostility there. That's not a natural thing. That's artificial. And it's all put there by the white supremacists long before the bus was built, long before the people got on the bus.
So let me run that back.
Every black person must
insane.
Then that toddler, as he or she grows, begins to pick up the poison that's already
That's
here.
not natural.
And
That's
then
artificial.
The poison is spread as that person comes in
It's artificial
contact,
intelligence.
particularly
Simulation.
with persons of like persuasion. This is why black people sitting on a bus, you can almost feel the atmosphere of hostility there. That's not a natural thing. That's artificial. And it's all put there by the white supremacists long before the bus was built.
This the Matrix.
Long before the people got on the bus. Every black person must realize this. So what do you do about it? Codification is all about what you do.
you make sure
Codify.
that anything that you say to someone before you open your mouth
Go ahead.
is of constructive value.
That's right.
Anything that you do with someone,
Is this constructive? You damn right it is.
you sit down and plan it first
Plan
and
it.
make sure that what you're planning is of constructive
Look,
value.
this how you become millionaire success with black people.
Is of
You be
you
constructive,
sit down and plan
and
it
then you
first.
sit down and plan it with your team first. Let me run this back.
Anything
I'm
that
talking to my team.
you do with someone,
I ain't no fool.
sit down and plan it first and make sure that what you're planning is of constructive value. Otherwise, black people should go the other way
Other way.
when they see each other. They shouldn't even come in contact with each other. They should cross the street almost before they say anything to each other, because once they say anything, the poison starts, unless they already have something in mind to say that is of constructive value. Now, we just tried this. This is what
I can't do that. You gonna realize your ass is poison. This is what the poison is in the serpent. This is what bitten by the serpent. The poison that's in you. The poison. This is why you're poisoned. Like in the days of Moses, where he had to raise the rod to heal the people because they were bitten and they were filled with poison. So God had Moses raise up a serpent that was going to heal the people. That's why Christ was raised. That's why. Dang. Because the people were full of poison. Ready?
you call the process of counter-racist codification. You're working
Let them deal in time out of legal mind. We're dealing in reality. And stay there and be constructive.
against racism right there. But see, black people just cannot continue to do like they're doing, and that is wait until they make contact and then try to figure out what to say and what to do. And it comes out all messed up right from the jump. As we well know from experience, we should have learned that by now. So we should agree that we avoid each other. Avoid each other like we are carrying SARS.
That's what I was going to say, put it in the terms of that we're carrying viruses.
Yes.
Stay away. Disperse.
There is such a virus as, social viruses that we send, messages that we send with eye contact, with everything. This is why you'll find a black person who will gun down someone with a 9mm in a line in a grocery store about nothing but a look. We're so full of poison, we're loaded with it. So if we back off from each other, avoid each other, and say, now I'm not going to say anything to this person that I see coming a block away unless it's something constructive. Otherwise, I'm going to avoid eye contact and every other kind of contact.
Well,
See, now, there is a governor on black people where that poison doesn't take place. And that is when that same black people, two black people coming down the street, they will start building up poison for each other a block away. But when they come in contact with white people, the poison is nullified because they know that white people can put a hurting on them. They know what power really is.
Such
Unless, of
subconscious-
course, they happen to corner some white person off somewhere in an alley or something. But black people don't have that automatic poison rising to the surface because the poison hasn't been put there for them to have that kind of animosity toward white people. Now, that's not to say that it should be there, but the poison shouldn't be there at all.
At all.
Black people should be like Mr. Rogers when it comes to interacting with each other.
Is this subconscious that we have this poison in us and that are not aware of it? And I know that the answer to the question, but I have to pose the question to you.
We're not only aware of it, we have come to glorify it.
Come on.
Black people wake up in the morning thinking about how we can spread poison among each other.
Consciously or subconsciously?
It's conscious, because now it has become the black lifestyle. We call it the ghetto lifestyle. We call it the black community lifestyle. It is a major disaster of the planet. Major. This is why we slaughter each other.
Come on.
All over the planet in huge numbers, just like it's nothing at all. It's nothing like the sound of the 9mm, one of Adolf Hitler's favorite cartridges. Hitler's been long dead, and he is reported to have not cared very much for black people. But one of the bullets that came out of World War II was a 9mm cartridge, and it is being used everywhere.
See?
Among black people.
You see what you learn something every show. Oh. Hitler's dream world. One to every head. Jeez, man.
Like the sound of the 9mm, one of Adolf Hitler's favorite cartridges. Hitler's been long dead, and he is reported to have not cared very much for black people. But one of the bullets that came out of World War II was a 9mm cartridge, and it is being used everywhere among black people.
It's
and
not a
glorified
coincidence.
As the principal instrument for spreading poison and making death among black people wherever they happen to be. The sound of the 9mm in the night. Pow, 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 pow. Glorified and enjoyed by many black people wherever they happen to be. It is a total universal disgrace. But we have that. So how do you avoid it? Avoid contact.
Don't even know.
A bunch of black people getting together.
So when old boy said, Kev, what's your plan for gangbangers and island boys? Well, island people is different from gangbangers, okay? Okay. But, sir, at this point in my life, man, they got to wake up. They got to buy books. They got to wake up. They got to find. Niggas is too grown to be playing like little babies and toddlers. Like Nip said, bullets ain't got no name. You can hit anybody. Anybody.
10 of them with no constructive
But who cares
agenda
in white supremacy?
always means.
You'd be like Tupac, a dead child on the street trying to make a rap verse. You know, like the life of a nigga.
Ugly. Always. No constructive agenda. Pre-planned in detail. The Million Man March worked because it was pre-planned.
So
and
what about
it was of constructive value, and
So what
everyone
about the black-
understood that.
what
See,
about
it's
the
not
black church?
something that's in the people by nature.
Uh-huh.
It's something that's carefully planted there. So you can plant, you can remove that, if no more than just temporarily, by having a plan. Say now, when everyone does this, when we all come together, the agenda is as follows. Everyone will deport themselves with decorum. There will be no throwing down of trash. And if you happen to throw some down or see some that's been thrown down, pick it up and put it in a receptacle. Now see, this is a pre-plan. Now black people work very well. This is why the churches, for the most part, work. When black people come to church, they have a code.
That's what I was going to ask you about the black
So
church.
black people, well, when black people at least come to church, they at least have an agreement in advance. So we're going to kind of act like for a few hours we have some sense. Unlike the way we acted before we came in here.
Yesterday.
Even though when we leave here, we're going to revert to type. But for 2 or 3 hours, we're going to go according to the little code that we have set up about the way you conduct yourself during these services. And so that's just a little respite.
What about religion?
Well, religion is nothing. Here again, you define what is a religion. It's a strong belief backed up by action.
Okay.
Now, the strongest religion on the planet is the religion of white supremacy.
Oh, my God.
Now, a person might say, well, white supremacy is not a religion. Yes, it is. It's a strong belief backed up by action that has a God. Well, what is the God of a white supremacist? The God of a white supremacist is a white supremacist. They are their own gods. This is why they are very determined and very focused. Now, a person might...
Oh, my goodness. Woo-wee. We have a special video in the class in the bungalows. I had to come to the bungalows again. Press what? I was in suspense. Like, what are you going to say? Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Jeez Louise. Oh, I can imagine him in front of all of us. Yeah, go ahead. The God of white supremacy is a white supremacist. Lord have mercy.
Here again, you define what is a religion. It's a strong belief
It's a strong
backed up by action.
By action.
Okay.
Not it.
Now, the
Catholic
strongest
religion. Strong belief backed up by action.
on the planet is the religion of white supremacy. Now, a person might say, well, white supremacy is not a religion. Yes, it is. It's a strong belief backed up by action that has a God. Well, what is the God of a white supremacist? The God of a white supremacist is a white supremacist. They are their own gods. This is why they are very determined and very focused.
Eugenics.
And very arrogant and very efficient. When they get ready to do anything, they have total confidence. And they do not take kindly to any images of a God that does not look exactly like them. They consider any other images as being inferior or non-existent.
Okay.
So it's everything that a white supremacist does reinforces white supremacy. They don't come around. They don't even come around black people unless they have that in mind.
Or unless they have to.
Everything.
Unless they have to.
Yes. And the only time they do, only time they show up anywhere, it has something to do with the muscle of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they're not going to show. Even when they come in the guise of doing other things, as people who are called Indians would testify. They'll say that they come, here again with the word,
Oh,
the
my
forked
goodness.
tongue.
Oh.
They're very, very efficient. But I
Oh,
don't
my
want to spend
goodness.
all of the day just talking about what they do. A lot of people are familiar with that. And a lot of people may not be. But I also want to emphasize, what do you do? Like we have touched on some things.
Yes.
In every instance, meaning in every situation that you're in, there should be a prescribed way. That's the one thing that black people do not have, is a codified way of handling every situation. Not some, not guesswork, not shuffling,
Every one
and
of 'em.
scratching and wondering what to do or what to say, but precision work. That's the one thing that's missing. That's the one thing that has been missing ever since everybody started trying to deal with racism.
J-O-B. Press one. Another one.
What few see. See what? So, how planet in all 9 areas of activity. Economics, education, entertainment, labor.
Now, hold up. All areas of activity. Make sure y'all write this down. Very important.
And how it works. Everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Now, sometimes people say, well, you mean everything that I understand will confuse me if I don't understand racism? Yes, because racism is the dominant political and religious motivating force among the people of the planet in all 9 areas of activity. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. That covers just about everything that any person, minute by minute, might be doing or engaged in any time of day or night, anywhere on the planet.
And now, Mr. Neely Fuller.
If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Only confuse you. Only confuse you. I know you. I know your father, your grandfather. I had them in chains. You can get in each other's face. You can run around with your little 9mm killing each other. Don't you get in my face at all. I'll let you talk and act. Sometimes let you talk and act tough to me. But remember, I'm letting you do this. Because I don't have to let you do anything, including breathing. And nothing can stop me. And you don't know anybody who's big enough to do it. So quit acting. And that's what I say in the books that I've written. We need to stop being actors. We're always talking about keeping it real as black people in the Northwestern Hemisphere. But we're the most unrealistic people on the planet. Quietly looked upon as a bunch of jokes. But people talk nice to us because they don't want to be bothered with us. They'll talk nice, but at the same time in their thoughts, they couldn't think anything else except these people are just about completely worthless as any creatures can possibly be. And how do I say that? I'm talking about this is the voice of the white supremacists now. Because I have made them that way. The only way they get to be worth anything is when I make them worth something. I tell them what they're worth. They don't know. They don't even know what to do with themselves when they get up in the morning, except what I tell them. Go here, go there. That's the only time they make sense. Other than that, they don't know anything. And proof of it is I can say, hey, I'm going to make some hats out of hubcaps. I got surplus hubcaps in my warehouse on some cars that I haven't even manufactured yet. And I don't know what to do with those surplus hubcaps. I don't want to throw them away. I got millions of them. But I got a bunch of black people out there who are just looking for something to do. They don't know what to do. They just look at this great big universe, a great big world. Look up and down the streets. They don't know what to do or where to go at any given moment. So I always, as usual, find something for them to do. So the next thing I'll do is the little money I've allowed them to have, I'm going to take these hubcaps that I ordinarily would put on some cars, and I'm going to say that they are no longer hubcaps, that they are hats. And I'll have all these millions of black people walking around with these hubcaps on their heads. And give it a fancy name like Zapsters. And people will be asking.
Remember I told y'all they sold them G-Unit shoes and them Sean Carters, they old paraplegic shoes from Payless, and they resold them shoes like they was something Yeezy, and them was all doing the same thing, selling 10-cent, 50-cent shoes for nothing. And they old paraplegic shoes that they got in the shoe warehouse because they ain't got enough old people. And now next they gonna make strap-ons for you. Then they came out with the new XJ900s and called them Balenciagas and Gucci shoes. And everybody's wearing them. I'm like, these the shoes I was being made fun of when my dad couldn't afford the Michael Jordan, and now everybody is wearing XJ900s, bro. And I realized, oh my God, we are insane. Insane.
What's a Zapster? Hey, man, that's the new hats, man. I mean, you square, you don't know what's up. You don't know, you haven't bought you a Zapster yet? $800 a piece, man. I got two of them. My buddy got them at a discount. He works over there where they got the stuff stored. And some white supremacists, about 23 years old, right out of college, thought up the idea. We'll sell them to the black people. We don't have to throw them away. Call them Zapsters. What's a Zapster? That's a hat that black people wear. That's their identifying thing. They always need something to identify themselves with. As
Bro,
if they're
this is some cold shit, right? This Zapster shit is the realest shit I ever heard. Look at you, Sean Baum. This you.
and give it a
You had Zapsters before. You wanted them.
fancy name like Zapsters. And people will be asking, what's a Zapster? Hey, man, that's the new hats, man. I mean, you square, you don't know what's up. You don't know, you haven't bought you a Zapster yet? $800 a piece, man. I got 2 of them. My buddy got them at a discount. He works over there where they got the stuff stored. And some white supremacists, about 23 years old, right out of college, thought up the idea. We'll sell them to the black people. We don't have to throw them away. Call them Zapsters. What's a Zapster? That's a hat that black people wear. That's their identifying thing. They always need something to identify themselves with, as if their skin color doesn't identify them enough. They always got to have something artificial, something that I made up. Or if they make it up, I'll be the one who will control it and I'll sell it to them for the little money that I allow them to have. And have them out here killing each other and have them.
Now that's how corporations indulge in genocide. Lord, they just took the training wheels off. Y'all have at it.
And a name like Zapster would be appropriate, too, because they'd be zapping other black people trying to get them. Put 5 shots in somebody and grab that Zapster. Keep it in the closet for about a week and then come out wearing it. A hubcap. That's the way millions of us think. Rather than say, wait a minute. I'm not doing nothing of the kind. I'm not going out and buying none of that stuff. I'm not going to even wear it if they give it to me.
Trying to tell you, I'm trying to tell you, that's the only way you're going to have anything is to discipline yourself away from these brands. And I don't did my fair share on this earth. I can't even lie to you, but at this point, nigga, if it ain't Gillespie, I don't want it.
I'm going to start doing some thinking for the first time in my existence on my own. Well, there's a long list of suggestions that a non-white person can make to a white person about what a white person can do that's in the code book. But since I'm not looking at it directly right now, the 2 of the things that are right at the top of that list. First of all, never, ever say anything to a non-white person that is not true. Because a lot of white people are always asking, they're making statements rather, they're saying, black people are always marching and complaining and whining about this and whining, and they never give you any details about doing anything. They just say that we don't like the way things are. And they break windows and turn cars over and foam at the mouth and shout slogans and whatnot. But they never go into any details about what it is that they want us to do. They call us all these names, racists, white supremacists, bigots, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they're not businesslike. They just believe in running up and down the street, throwing things and yelling and insults and calling us names And we white people who want to help don't know what to do because they're too busy calling us names and not going into any details, not acting like they're going to sit down
If that ain't America, I don't know what is. The biggest gaslighting ass nation ever. I don't know what they want. I don't know what it
and
is.
do business in a sane, methodical manner to solve their problems. They just say, we don't like it the way it is, and we are racist, and blah, 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 blah. So the code approaches this, the counter-racist code, the suggestions that I make, because many times they're telling the truth about that. Back in the 1960s, some white people were asking that same question, just in that way. What do you want us to do? Name something. And they just say, well, they just say, well, what do you want? See, they use that word want. And I remember in one instance, their answer was, from a group of black people, was, well, what do we want? What do you got? Okay? And everybody laughed. See, but it's no laughing matter. I mean, when it comes right down to when the rubber meets the road. So the first order of business, I thought about that. That's why I started putting it in the book. Oh, when they ask you a specific question, what do you want? And you want to get into specifics, say, well, now, first thing we want is don't ever say anything to a non-white person that's not true. Now, a lot of people will say, well, we want housing, we want better jobs, we want et cetera, et cetera. We can get to that later. That's on the list, too. But top of the list is don't say anything to a non-white person that's not true. Why? Why is that in the textbook for victims of white supremacy, right at the top of the list of what you say to white people when they ask, what do you people want? Why is that at the top of the list? Because white supremacy thrives on falsehood. This is the first thing they do when they get ready to mess over people, is start saying things that are not true and get people to believe it in all areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. The white supremacists make sure that they have a whole arsenal, a whole warehouse of things that they say that are not true. Because when you fool people, you got them. When you got people completely dizzy, walking around, with a head full of non-truths. Everything you have said to them, or most of the things you have said, have turned out not to be true at all. That person is just groggy right from the lies that they're getting, all right, the non-truths. So the first order of business, don't say anything. If you want to really help, don't say anything ever to a non-white person. If you're a white person, don't say anything ever to a non-white person that is not true. Make sure that what you are saying is absolute truth. Don't say anything ever that's not true. And number two, because I named two things. That's the first one. Number two, right at the top of the list. And these two things will go a long ways. Don't say anything that's not true. And number two is don't withhold constructive information. The minute, on a job or anywhere else, the minute you get that constructive information, pass it on to a needy, a non-white person who is in need. That information, and they don't have that information, is constructive information. Don't withhold constructive information. Don't keep it to yourself. Or pass it on to other white people and skip over the non-white people. Don't do that. In fact, make it a priority to give it to the person who needs it most. And in many cases, I'll say, probably in most cases, it'll be a non-white person that needs that constructive information. Constructive information goes a long ways. Information is power. Constructive information is power all over the world. All right? So don't withhold constructive information. The white supremacists are skillful at doing that.
They'll give you a whole bunch of information, but it'll be non-constructive. They'll rush to give a non-white person a whole bunch of ideas, a whole bunch of information to send them down a path that's headed for destruction. So we want constructive information, all of that constructive information, any constructive information that you have, anything that you think will wind up really helping this non-white person, give it to them immediately. Make a beeline to them deliberately and do it. Those two things will go a long ways. Well, I'll go right straight to the textbook itself. First of all, you ask, what is a friend? Now, there's no way for anybody to be friends in a non-just system. That's just not going to happen. People kick that word friend around just like we kick around a lot of words. You use a lot of words very loosely without having definition for what we're talking about.
And look at that. You don't even know what a friend is. He said, y'all saying words, y'all ain't even checked the dictionary yet. Y'all ain't even checked what the words mean or nothing. Y'all just wildin'.
To the textbook itself. First of all, you ask, what is a friend? Now, there's no way for anybody to be friends in a non-just system. That's just not going to happen. People kick that word friend around just like we kick around a lot of words. You use a lot of words very loosely without having definition for what we're talking about. It's impossible to have a friend in the system of white supremacy. Why? We're in a non-just system. So you can't have a white friend or a non-white friend. You can't have a friend, period. You just do the best you can in a system that's rotten to the core. It's all rotten. Even though, it has a lot of sweetness to it, artificial sweetener, you might say. The white supremacists know how to do tons of that. They know how to sugarcoat everything, okay? So we get that taste of the sugar, but that's not genuine. It's not genuine. It's not real. You cannot have true friendship in a non-just system, but you just do the best you can to do what? Minimize the harm that you do to people. Try to be as constructive as you possibly can, but you can't have a white friend or a non-white friend in a system that doesn't allow friendship. There's no such thing as friendship in a non-just system. It's just people doing stuff. So the stuff that you do, just try to make it as constructive as you possibly can, knowing full well you can't get it the way that it ought to be. There's no way you can get any kind of relationship the way that it ought to be in a system that's set up to prevent everything from being.
And an unjust system is a system without Christ. Press 1.
Being the way that it ought to be when it comes to interaction between people. It's not going to happen.
I'll repeat. An unjust system is a system without Christ.
Wow.
Trying to pretend that it's happening is just that. Now, we are excellent pretenders because we hurt all the time. So what we do is go around all day pretending. We're pretending that we have friends. The white supremacists do not allow that. Friendship means you have justice. What means, and what does that mean? What we've been repeating in this program all the time. Guaranteeing that no person is mistreated. That's a big order. Guaranteeing that no person is mistreated at no
That's right. That's right.
time. You guarantee that? But that's what you got to have if you got justice. And the other part is guaranteeing that everybody who needs constructive help gets it. You got to guarantee that. No half-stepping. No, I'll see about it next week.
Wow.
No, you got to guarantee it
No
right now.
negotiations.
That doesn't exist anywhere on the planet.
That's right.
But that's the way it should have been in the beginning
In the
That's
beginning,
right.
yes.
of time. All right?
Look,
But everything got off track, and the white supremacists have made sure that it stays off track
Yes.
because they believe in mistreating people deliberately
Jackie.
and dominating people and getting people to mistreat each other.
I knew
So
it.
you don't have this
I
friendship.
knew me watching cartoons with y'all will really help. I really enjoy my classroom. I love everybody. When you cut up in classroom, this is what you get. Classroom at an ass whooping. But guess what? We still got projection day. We still got movie day.
Absolutely.
There's no way to get it.
Every black person on the planet who has been exposed to white supremacy, and the assumption is every black person on the planet has been, even when they haven't been in contact with white people directly. They've been exposed to the white culture indirectly. White culture is about white supremacy.
That's right.
Now, what does white supremacy do?
It throw up the Nazi salute at the inauguration. That's what white That's what white supremacy. The president of the United States. Yeah, just fuck it. That's one. Hey, but no problem, and have people defend. No way. Hit that like button and subscribe and contribute to this page.
It teaches people of color that if you are a male, you cannot be a man. Period.
Period.
Not in the system of white supremacy.
Nope.
And you're not going to be treated like a man.
Nope.
Ever.
Ever.
Now, you can walk around and think that you're a man.
Come on.
But that's between you and you. Strictly between you and yourself.
Come on.
Because no white person has an obligation, if you're a black male, to treat you like you are a man. And it's logical simply because in the system of white supremacy, it's impossible for a black male to be a man.
I told you. I told you. Now, does he sound... Did we not prove everything he's saying? In the system of white supremacy by law, it is impossible. He's telling us. He just couldn't go there with you. Press one. Bro, what a baton he had. He just... It's right there.
It doesn't make any difference how old he gets or what he knows or what kind of connections. That can't be done. I just start with myself. I'm not eligible, not qualified to be a man. Why? Because I was born in captivity.
Come on.
Why.
That's
When
what
you're
makes
in
Christ the
captivity.
firstborn. That's what makes him the firstborn. And that's the miracle. We'll get to it.
When you're a prisoner of war, you are strictly that and nothing else.
And nothing else.
A prisoner of
War.
a victim of white supremacy. And you don't have another title. You can give yourselves all kinds of titles.
That's
which is why
right.
black people love titles.
I'm Hebrew. Press one. Dad, what they say? But I'm a Hebrew. What do he say from 55th Street? But I'm a Hebrew, and I'm a this one, and I'm a that one. But Kev told you, this ain't about genealogy, champion. That's how I know they not my student. Because they trying to make it out to what they want, and they not in class listening to the mind of Kev. They playing and enjoying. They always been here. No Jumper and them boys always been around. They ain't got nothing else to do. Only thing they do is look for ways to stop constructive thinking. See, they always been like that in the hood. Niggas, you catch niggas doing shit, and we over there, they go, Kev over there making niggas laugh. They must be talking about business. Hey, y'all, let's go over there and interrupt what they got going on. That's why I played them. They in my metaverse. They on my YouTube street waiting for me to talk about it. They waiting. But guess what? Wrong guy. I'm over here in class. Can't touch this. I don't want
Give ourselves all kinds of...
No, everything I do now, it has to be constructive, bro. And building y'all up ain't constructive. Press one. Building y'all up and and playing with y'all. The only way I'm playing with my team even over there is talking about don't do bad things. And we coming to tear down grid program. We not doing nothing over there. No, we not your friends. None of that.
Yourselves all kinds of titles, which is why black people love titles.
Mm-hmm.
We give ourselves all kinds of titles. We give each other all kinds of titles.
Facts.
Some titles It's not as bad as it was in the old days. I say bad, if you want to use that word. But some people used to say professor, reverend, most high. I mean, before you ever get to a name, you would have about 40 titles. You know, when somebody introduces you, if you're supposed to be what you call a big shot Negro in the old days. This is not new. This goes way back.
Go way
that
back.
Struggle. Oh, how
Just call me what? What I say? No, Kevin. Press 1. And if you check Kevin in the Hebrew, not in the gematria, press, y'all ready? Let's go to Kevin in the Hebrew. Press 1. You know what it means? No, because you playing. You don't know what it means. Hit the like button and subscribe. No, that's in the Greek. But in the Hebrew, let's go to Kevin in the Hebrew. I thought since y'all need the blue letter, y'all, oh, you ain't the bishop, and you ain't this, and you, no, okay, so y'all playing semantics. Okay, well, let's go to the Hebrew. In the Arabic, I will be Khalil, and y'all just shh, because y'all know what this is. Y'all sit back. But in the Hebrew, Kevin is what? He's the crown king. So stop playing with Mr. Gillespie in all areas, 9 areas of the way you think. You're going to find Mr. Gillespie right there. I promise you. You ain't going to find no, it ain't finna say loose cannon, Bocat. That's what it's not finna say. They don't do this homework. They ain't been in class doing, they been playing.
It's love to be a man. I mean, what can it take? But by this generation, what you call the new millennia.
You see, we talking about them right here. This really them. This really them. They're not gangsters at all. That's why that's not even cool to go with. No more in life. You realizing all this shit is for a joke.
Most young black people have looked around. They have looked at the people that came before them, who since the 1960s, the white supremacists have done a rough job on black malehood.
What they do?
First of all, giving them an option that you can continue to be a big boy, or if you really want to get some material benefits, put on some gold slippers and skip around, and grin all the time and all like that, and have a little money in your pocket. Now you can be a black girl if you're a black male.
Oh, my God.
You can be a black girl, but you cannot be a man. You will never be a man in the system of white supremacy.
Told you. I told you. Damn.
Now, they have put that in cement. They have written, or rather in steel, or whatever the hardest subject, a diamond. The white supremacists have put that philosophy out here since the 1970s. That's the benchmark that I give it. All over the world, and they're spreading it. They're saying, you're not going to be a man, you're a black male, and you think you're going to be a man on my watch? On my watch? This is the voice of the...
I'm sorry, y'all. You see how he stepped in the camera?
Like that, and have a little money in your pocket. Now you can be a black girl if you're a black male. You can be a black girl, but you cannot be a man. You will never be a man in the system of white supremacy. Now, they have put that in cement. They have written, or rather in steel, or whatever the hardest subject, a diamond. The white supremacists have put that philosophy out here since the 1970s. That's the benchmark that I give it. All over the world, and they're spreading it. They're saying, you're not going to be a man, you're a black male, and you think you're going to be a man on my watch? On my watch? This is the voice of the white supremacists now. Racist man and racist woman. Say, that's not going to happen. Say, now Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad and all of that, they said that that's what they're going to make.
I told you. You know there's a price that comes with trying to make you a man. And there's the cold cost to it. That's why I see why, but we training you up to have bars. You speak truth around here. They ain't not going to allow what? Impossible. That's against my life, liberty, in the pursuit of. Once again, violation. See? These are I hope y'all taking notes.
For the world, and they're spreading it. They're saying, you're not going to be a man. You're a black male, and you think you're going to be a man on my watch?
That's right.
On my watch? This is the voice of the white supremacist now. Racist man.
That's
And
the voice that's in your head that's preventing you from. See the way he walked up classroom? Hey, D-Jack, you saw the way he walked up to that screen? That's the voice that be in niggas' head. They be scared to talk. I don't blame that white man in that head is
For the
scary.
world,
Watch
and
out.
they're spreading it.
Watch how he walk up.
They're saying, you're not going to be a man. You're a black male, and you think you're going to be a man on my watch?
Nigga, that's a cold walk. Man, you ain't finna be none of that, because you becoming who you are will negate who I am.
On my watch?
On
This
my-
is the voice of the white supremacist now.
Listen.
Racist man and racist woman. Say, that's not going to happen. Say, now Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad and all of that, they said that that's what they're going to make you out of.
Uh-huh.
But it's not going to happen.
Facts.
Now, you can talk it.
You can talk.
But you make any move to make that real,
Huh?
and you're going to wonder what fell on you.
Hold on,
Now, they-
Kev. If you make one move towards what, you going to wonder what fell on you, Tracy. See, they playing, Tracy. Tracy, I make this shit look good. Duh. And Macho Man Randy Savage. Trust what? I make this shit. And white man say, what? You going to do what? That's what? I never asked for no favors, nigga. Look. This whole, know what you doing. Say the Supreme Court, huh? Yes, sir. That's what you're saying. That's what I said. And so it is. Bullseye. Press one. And that's what you against. You against this walk up right here, D-Jack. You gonna do what?
Man, on my watch,
You against him? Him.
this is the voice of the white supremacists now.
Now,
Racist.
they said the Supreme Court is for you. But if you step up, you see what happened to him. Press one. You see TV, you watch the movies, you say, have you ever seen a movie called JFK? Nigga, they ain't playing with nobody trying to set you free, right? You ever see Debo? They use all type of Universe 25 tactic to keep you off target. So you don't make it to the Supreme Court and summon God to handle this matter. Are they insane? So they want to knock off and create characters to knock off to pump fear so you don't ever become free. I mean, because every male will be afraid of that shit. I'm going with you, but make a left right here. Make it right here. All the way, man. They got big guns and stuff. Well, they got the truth shall make you free. So that's the importance of it, not to worry about the guns and all of that. And I know he was a German. I know what I'm up against. I know what they up to. But that's not what I saw in my vision. And that's not what I'm afraid of if I don't. You got me. I'm on the right team. I'm not afraid of them. Hell no. We ain't never had shit. We can go Jack in the Box with an EBT card right now if I want to. First one. We ain't never had. That nigga ain't looking for nothing but, yeah. And then I was showed, and then I was told, then I was showed. So what I saw, they can't fuck with. What I saw is like some goddamn apocalyptic, big, dark side ass character that's so big and strong, man. I'm not, bruh. Is them. I'm telling on you, niggas. I'm not lying. I'm telling. Listen to me, Charlotte. What I saw in my vision, I'm telling on everybody. I'm going to be on the first 48 of Crisis and God's fucking throne right there. I tell you right there. They're going to have me on videotape looking like FBG butter with a salami sandwich. And you got some Starburst with ice cold water. First one, I'll tell you about this fool over here. First one, you know what they did to me? First one, I'm telling on everything. Telling on Big U. I'm telling on everybody, bro. I'm just letting you know. I'm not a gangbanger. I'm a non-affiliate. And according to the rules of being a civilian, I'm able to do so. So I'm telling, and it's not breaking no rules. Y'all just gotta look at each other and be like, well, that's why okay, he really right, 'cause he's a civilian, and we all know civilians are damn. That's one, but he's black, so what? He's black. According to the rules, and he's telling God. So what the fuck is you gonna do about it? I'm telling, and you should tell too. Remember, the first ones to tell get the best deal. That's what I learned. I'm been on Earth. You feel me? Man, I seen your paperwork. You told, well, nigga, I'm telling God. I seen your paperwork. You told. Remember that. I'm telling God. G14 classified in full effect. Hey, and always remember, don't do bad things.
For the world, and they're spreading it. They're saying, you're not going to be a man, you're a black male, and you think you're going to be a man on my watch? On my watch? This is the voice of the white supremacist,
Fact.
racist man and racist woman. Say, that's not going to happen. Say, now Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Elijah Muhammad and all of that, they said that that's what they're going to make you out of. But it's not going to happen. Now, you can talk it, but you make any move to make that real, and you're going to wonder what fell on you.
You're going to wonder what fell on you, D-Jack. If you make any move with Mr. Gillespie, nigga, you going to wonder what fell on you. Hit that like button. And so white folks sure know how to say these little... You going you gonna wonder what fell on your ass, boy. Hit that like button.
Now, they have made that clear to all of us.
That's right.
And the young black people have picked up that signal. And they say, well, if I can't be a man and I don't want to be like my sisters, I don't want to switch around all day looking for a male, and I pretend to be a female or try to switch over and be one if they can operate on me and make me one, because then things become easier. I mean, I guess, I hope, but I definitely can't be a man because I'm in big trouble if I try to be. Then what can I be? Well, the white supremacist said, well, I'll give you another outside option. You can go around and pretend that you're a man by doing harm to other black people.
Oh, my goodness. You can go around and pretend to be a man and go around and do it. Hey, loose cannon, you better bring your ass to school. You can sit there and pretend to be a man. The only way you can do that is by going around and doing harm to people who look like you.
That's cursing out black females, calling them names and all like that.
All on the web page, just talking about women ain't shit and blue blooms and wham whams and all just vocal, just all in the propaganda, just everywhere.
Write songs about them where you call them all kinds of names and kick them all up and down the street. We don't care about that. Kick your mother up and down the street. I mean, we rejoice when we see you do that, okay? But if you start acting anything like you ask for respect from us, the white supremacists, boy, you're going to get dead real quick.
You gonna get dead real quick. Oh, shit.
You can go around and pretend that you're a man by doing harm to other black people.
Help me.
That's cursing out black females, calling them names and all like that. Write songs about them where you call them all kinds of names and kick them all up and down the street. We don't care about that. Kick your mother up and down the street. I mean, we rejoice when we see you do that, okay? But if you start acting anything like you ask for respect from us, the white supremacists, boy, you're going to get dead real quick. Most black males, we know that because they teach us that in no uncertain terms. When we really start asserting ourselves and say, you're going to respect me as a man. And the white supremacist said, you tell that to other black people. But don't you get in my face ever, boy, and act like you even thinking like that, dealing with me. Now, I'll play with you for a little while. I'll laugh and joke with you. But if you get serious and think that you're going to be a man, and when I'm here, because there ain't but one man in this house, and when I say house, I mean the entire planet Earth. Anytime you think with your black self, you're going to be a man in my presence, you got another thing coming. Now, like I said, I'll play with you. I'll kid around with you. I'll joke with you. I'll play some ball games with you and all like that. Don't you ever think that you're a man. You're a boy, or you can act like your sisters and be a girl, and you ain't got no other choices with me. But you got all kind of choices with your own people. Even though your own people are really not your own people, they're mine too. But you can kill them. You can tell them, ain't nobody gonna disrespect you. Well, you tell that to other black people, boy. Well, don't you ever even think it. In my presence, you don't even have to say it. Don't you even act like you might be thinking that, or you're gonna find out what the hell is. And you know what? The white supremacists have proven that they can deliver on that message every time, and I don't care who you are, if you're black on this planet. When you really put them to an acid test, they have so far proven that nobody will take them on, because nobody knows how to, including Neely Fuller. I'm just trying to find out. I'm in their prison too. I was born in their prison too. So to get to the crux of what we're talking about here, for black males, we're talking about manhood. And it's not going to happen, folks. As long as you have the system of white supremacy in place and not having a system of justice. This is why, rather than run around killing each other, that's not going to help. The average white person, by the time they're 16 years old, they know all the rules. They picked it up by osmosis, meaning just by being around people and observing and listening and whatnot, being around the dinner table and all like that when political talk is going on. You know, the little white girl, the little white boy who's sitting there, I mean, he's 6 years old, but he hears, you know, his white grandfather sitting up there talking about that blankety-blank Obama and whatnot, and all the rest of those heathen niggas are ruining, you know, the society and all like that, and on and on and on. Now, he's 6 years old. About the time he's 15, he's well schooled, and he hadn't said a word to anybody. He's, you know, by the time he gets ready to go to school, he knows the fundamentals, and by the time he gets to about the 8th or 9th grade, he's got it just about pat. Now, every now and then he'll make some mistakes. You know, he'll choose a white buddy or something a black buddy or something like that. I mean, he'll be on the football team and all like that. But for the most part, he knows the rules. He knows where the line is. And he's not supposed to cross it. Because when he does, he'll be crossing his grandfather, who's still sitting on that porch rocking back and forth. You know? Now, boy, you know better than that. It's okay. You be nice and kind to the people. Don't call them names and all like that. But after all, don't forget, you're a white man now. You got to remember that. That means something. I didn't go all the way through the wars and all like that fighting for you to wind up being like them. It's all right for you to be around them and do a little laughing and talking and all like that, but you're a different species altogether, and don't you forget it. How do you think that we got all that we got? By being like them? Look at them. Look at them. Drive through where they live. Look at the way they act. Do you think that's an improvement? You know? And so, you know, they stand there and look, and then they go out and check it out. And they say, no, you know, I'd rather, hey, there's something to being white. You get a lot of things out of being white that you won't get if you're black. For sure. Yeah, see, so they see that. I mean, they ain't blind, you know. You know, are you in a better position being white, or are you in a better position being black anywhere in the world? And every white person is, you know, a 30-year-old white person, they don't know that. I mean, you know, even if they are blind, they know that much. I mean, a blind white person,
Doesn't even know what a black person looks like. If somebody's told him he's white, he knows what that means. That's a much better position, you know, because he's listening. He got ears.
For sure.
Yeah. It could be, but I'll respond because some people think that that is really significant, and it may be significant. I don't think it's very significant, and I'll give my logical, compensatory, counter-racist, logical reason. The white supremacists sometimes themselves say, you know what? A lot of black people were here before we got here. We came out of caves. We came out of caves like, and they don't use this expression, but they kind of imply it like, it was 5 minutes ago. We just got here 5 minutes ago. You black people have been here on the planet for zillions of years. But boy, look at us now. So what does that say about you? And they got a point there. They got a point there. See, it's not how long you have been here. It's what you do while you've been here. That's what counts. Any teacher in any classroom will tell you that. That's pure mathematical logic. A teacher will walk into a classroom and say, Willie, how long have you been in this school, in the first grade? And Willie will say, I've been here in the first grade since I was 6 years old, and I'm 32 now. What does that say about Willie? And here comes little Johnny, and he spends 10 minutes in the first grade, and after 10 minutes, he's ready to graduate into postgraduate college. Why? Because that's what we're really saying. When black people start getting on that high horse and talking about how long they've been here, see, it's not how long you've been here. People can sit on a rock for millions of years. That doesn't count for anything. The earth is nothing but a big rock with some foliage on it. Yes, and all of the generations that have come up since the beginning of white supremacy.
So all that stuff is just make-believe, bruh.
And say that black people weren't doing things that they shouldn't do.
And it don't matter.
Before that system. But all of the people who are breathing now have come up under the system of white supremacy. So we don't know anything else other than what they teach us. We can't even claim that, you know, we know something that they don't know. See, that's how you measure that. What is it that black people know about that the white supremacists don't already know? I can't even name one thing, even though black people will say we have our schools and we have our own way of doing things and we got our style and all like that, and that we know all about how to, you know, cultivate hair, and we know all about, you know, this, that, and other that we do, and this is a black thing. We even had an expression for it. This is a black thing. You wouldn't understand. There's nothing that the white supremacists don't understand about their slaves. That's why they're slaves. They have a better understanding of their slaves than the slaves have of themselves. That's why they're slaves. Because if they had a better understanding of how slavery worked and how white supremacy worked, they wouldn't be subject to white supremacy.
I told you. He's telling you. He's breaking it down. He's really speaking in code, but great job. Great job. Message received. If you really knew who you are, white supremacy, you would run that right off the planet.
That's the mathematical equation. If you are smarter than the people that dominate you, you are not going to be dominated.
Okay.
That's the mathematical equation.
That's E equals MC squared.
Now, a lot of people are very, very unsettled with that. A lot of black people say, "Oh no, you can't go around saying that they're smart. Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. That makes me feel bad." Well, regardless of how you feel about it, is it true?
Listen.
Well, we've been trapped into that thing called African descent, because I really don't know what that means. Because the white supremacists themselves said, hey, we're Africans too. Open any anthropology book, and the white supremacists themselves say, we originated in Africa. All people originated in Africa.
Told you. So when y'all fighting for Africa, who y'all fight for? AfriCorps? Yeah, you just don't know. That's all right. We got you.
Including white people. So if you're talking about African descent, so what are you talking about? I'm African too. And then the white supremacists, if they tell the truth, they'll say, hey boy, wake up and smell the coffee. It ain't where you're from. See, you black people got a thing about where you're from. It's what you are now and what you will be. It ain't where you're from. Everybody's from somewhere. So what? It's who has the power, boy. You ain't noticed that? Who has the power and how did they get it? And we...
You understand? Did you hear what he just said? And how did they get it? These are the keys, man. We don't broke this shit down. People wonder why I'm on fire, why I'm on 2-3 hours now, while I'm doing longer stream. Because we did it already.
The thing about where you're from is what you are now and what you will be. It ain't where you're from. Everybody's from somewhere. So what? It's who has the power, boy. You ain't noticed that? Who has the power and how did they get it? And we know more about that than anybody because we got it and you ain't. Now figure that one out. Now you can talk about where you're from all day long and you can talk about where I'm from. So what? Where you're from is where you are now and where you can go and what you can do when you get there each and every time. And nobody can stop you. And as a white supremacist, I ain't found nobody who can match that. Now that's the voice of the white supremacists. Mm-hmm. So we should get out of this thing of studying our navels. You know, that's what I call it.
Okay.
Sitting in a corner and talking about, well, you know, I got some great ancestors. Well, what does the code say about ancestors? You know what I say when people ask me about my ancestors? I say this, what I've written in the book. My ancestor invented breathing. And I never say nothing else. That's all I have to say. I don't look at any books and all like that. When I started talking about ancestors, and they started talking about what your ancestors did and going and picking through this and this artifact and that artifact, I never paid any attention to any of that. I simply say,
It was the first one, breathing.
Neely Fuller's, going under this slave name, ancestor, invented breathing. Why? Why do I know my ancestor invented breathing? Because I'm breathing. I could not be breathing without my ancestor inventing a thing called breathing. And it doesn't get any better than breathing. That's why I say that's the only artifact I need.
Okay.
It doesn't get, I don't know of anything better than breathing.
Okay.
For a person, an animal, a plant, or whatever. I don't know of anything. Whatever invented breathing, that was my ancestor.
Huh.
So now we can just, you know, when we sit down, it's a practical reason for this. Because, see, the white supremacists sit there and say, well, tell me all about your ancestors. You know, before you can get this job, I mean, you got to show me your background. I mean, have your people ever done anything worthwhile, blah, 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 blah? That's a trick. That's a massive trick. That's just something to take up a whole lot of your time and exhaust you, which the white supremacists are good at. So you just simply say, oh, my ancestor invented breathing. All right? So we can move on to something else.
Okay.
Right quick. Bam. Just like that.
Alrighty.
The codification is about moving fast right out the gate. Money is a tool. Racism is a religious philosophy that's also a tool, but it is a superior philosophy to money. Nothing is money. You can say that a rock is money. A diamond is a rock. A shiny rock. and they make it shiny, because I understand the diamonds in the rough are not very shiny. I don't know whether that's true or not. But even if they did or didn't shine, what is money? Money is whatever the white supremacists say that it is. That's why the white supremacist philosophy is superior to money, because money doesn't make the white supremacists. The white supremacists make money. I worked in a place called the Bureau of Engraving and Printing for many years, and they printed something called money on paper. It was blank paper, and then when they ran it through a press, it came out being money. And it had $10 on it, $20, $50, $100, sometimes called Benjamins, because it had Benjamin Franklin's name on it, whatnot. And George Washington, number one, the $1 bill, a slave owner. Thomas Jefferson, a $2 bill, a slave owner. So they have slave owners' pictures on money. So what's superior, the money or the person that owns the money? The person who makes the money? The person whose pictures go on the money? So if I make something, I'm superior to the thing that I made. So the money's not controlling me. I'm controlling the money because I made the money. That's obvious. And so that's where I got that from. I say that the system of white supremacy is the strongest religion in the world. Because what is a religion? A religion is a strong belief backed up by action. And nobody has ever come up with a philosophy stronger than the system of white supremacy and put it into action.
Okay.
Other people are running trying to catch up. They'll say, well, I have a religion, but I'm having problems trying to practice my religion because people keep interfering with my religion. And my religion is at a disadvantage. And I'm say, for example, I'm a Christian, but people are always opposing me as a Christian, and it's a real struggle trying to keep this Christianity thing going, and I'm having problems trying to get people to follow the Christian religion, and they're being persecuted. Well, the white supremacists don't have that problem because ain't nobody persecuting them. I mean, hey, they don't take no guff from nobody. I don't care what your religion is, your philosophy, or how much money you got if you're black. The white supremacists said, hey, you ain't seen money like me. I'm a white person in the system of white supremacy, and I am money. I'm walking money. Any money that you have doesn't mean anything until I say so with your black self. That's why the code says the system of white supremacy is the most powerful religion ever thought up in the minds of the people of this planet. I don't know about other planets, but on this planet, they prove it every minute of every day.
Listen.
That's the royal category. The royal category based on color. You have all kinds of royalism, kings and queens and all like that. The system of white supremacy is a category based on color and non-color.
That's why we're under the color of law under civil Roman law. It's civil law. And you've been color coded.
And if you're in the color category, black, brown, red, yellow, beige, tan, etc., then you are eligible to be dominated and mistreated by people who classify themselves as the non-color white. And I kind of went in depth on that, but basically that's really what it's all about. It's just a form of mistreatment based on color. That's what white supremacy is. That's what I have in my book, and that's what I've been saying all down through the decades and whatnot. If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Now, sometimes people say, well, you mean everything that I understand will confuse me if I don't understand racism? Yes, because racism is the dominant political and religious motivating force among the people of the planet in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. That covers just about everything that any person, minute by minute, might be doing or engaged in any time of day or night, anywhere on the planet.
Well, when it comes to a person of color, just look around to what happens everywhere that you go on the planet when it comes to a person of color, and ask, why is it that if you're in Venezuela, if you're in Brazil, except maybe for a few minutes in Mardi Gras time, if you are in Ethiopia, if you are a person of color in Ohio, in New York City, in Ontario, why is it that when white people look at you, they see something different than they see when they look at a white person? And that they act on that difference, and that difference is usually directly, indirectly, to your detriment. Why is it that you have what you call black neighborhoods, black communities, black churches, a black church? Just that. Something we've gotten used to. That's what we call them. We don't even call them Christian churches. We call them black churches and white churches. Why is that? There's got to be a reason for that. So I'm saying everywhere you go, color is the dominant feature in anything. The color of a person's skin. That's dominant. That takes precedent over everything. There's nothing that comes before that. Nobody's religion comes before that. First thing is, what color is that person coming down the road? What is the color classification? If you look at the census in the Northwestern Hemisphere, the census is all about what? A thing called race. Let's get that straight before we start talking about money or anything else. What race do you belong to? And then they have the races, what's so-called races, R-A-C-E-S, based on what? What color somebody is. All right? Now, I understand they're doing a little modification now, a little juggling and whatnot, and they're coming up with something called the German race and the Irish race. But really, in the system of white supremacy, it's just one race, and that is the white race. There's no such thing as another race of people anywhere in the known universe. Mm-hmm. According to what? According to logic. So that's why I say that's the dominant government. It actually cancels out all other governments. There's no such thing as, a communist government other than the government of white supremacy, a socialist government other than the government of white supremacy, a capitalist government other than the government of white supremacy, a Christian government, Muslim government, Confucian government, Hindu government. No. Color is more powerful than all of those so-called governments put together. What color somebody is, more powerful. That's the first order of business. They say, oh yeah, well, you're talking about money and you're talking about this, you're talking about capitalism, you're talking about Wall Street, you're talking about starvation in Bangladesh and whatnot. Wait a minute, before we even get to that. What color are the people? What color are the people that you're talking about? Before we go any further, let's get that straight. We want to know what color the people are. What color the people are. We're talking about borders now. You got people coming across borders. Wait a minute. What color are those people coming across the border? Any border. What color are those people out there in the desert? What color are those people up there on the moon? If there's any up there, what color are they? Let's get that straight first. Then we'll talk about the other stuff. Because the other stuff don't matter no way. It's what color they are that matters. We don't care nothing about these two-bit religions. All of them don't matter. Color comes first.
They are supreme. I didn't say better. Supreme just means, hey, they can tell you what to do and you can't tell them. That makes them supreme. That's what white supremacy means. They can tell you what to do, but you can't tell them. You can't make them do nothing. And they'll challenge you if they, of course we usually don't challenge them. We'll stand there when we're mad and say we demand, but that's not really what we mean. We really mean we're asking in a loud voice, because we can't demand nothing. Because see, when it comes right down to it, when they back up and say, okay, you say you're demanding, you're gonna make me do what you want me to do? All right, do it. Say, come on now. Say, now you do this among your own people, you get away with it, but you're dealing with a master now. Make me. All this stuff you're talking about that you got to have, make me. You're intelligent. You said that you are. You said your people are this and that, and you come from a long line of this. Make me. None of us have proven that we can meet that yet. None of us. In all these years, some of us can talk pretty loud, and we can do a job on each other like you wouldn't believe. But when Master Man says, make me, we melt. And the evidence shows it. Now, is that supposed to make us feel real bad and crawl under a rock and all like that? No, that's what makes you strong. Why? According to logic. To admit that you're a prisoner of war is strength, if that's what you are. That's the first step toward not being a prisoner. Realize that you are one. But see, black males in particular, we like to flex our muscles. Boy, do we ever like to act like we are really men. And we will slaughter each other on 8th Street out there any day in the week to prove it. We ain't nowhere close. Because when the real man comes around, we melt. You see us running across parking lots and hiding under cars. When we were real men, we'd meet him halfway. We'd say, where is it? You ain't saying nothing but the word. Where is it? Point to which way he's coming from. All right? No. There are 9 areas of activity. The 7th area is religion. And economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. The white supremacists, when they got the idea that they were going to establish something called white supremacy, they said we have to dominate these people in all areas of activity, including their religion, particularly their religion, because religion is what? A strong belief backed up by action. That's all any religion is. And the white supremacists said we're going to make white supremacy the strongest religion that has ever existed. They have succeeded in that. They are not in the process of doing that. Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, Confucianism, Judaism, all of these other religions don't come anywhere close to being as strong as the religion of white supremacy. A strong belief backed up by action. So people are in complete disarray. Confusion, which is what the white supremacists do. They confuse people. Well, we got them confused. We're working on getting them all confused sexually. But we have long ago got them confused when it came to the seventh area of activity, religion. All of these dark-skinned people around here killing each other, hitting each other over the head with the Bible, having endless barbershop arguments about what Ezekiel meant or what Solomon did or didn't do or what Ruth said or didn't say. We got them confused. That's what we do. We take any holy book and we read it and we thoroughly add to it and subtract from it. And then we distribute pamphlets, or samples of it. That adds to the confusion. With our names on it. And we establish different type of churches and whatnot. Different church on every corner with a different name. Supposed to be the same religion, but we got a different church with a different name. Adding to the confusion. Go over here to the Protestant church. Oh, no, they don't know what they're talking about. Then go over here to the Catholic church. And, oh, no, they don't know what they're talking about. Well, what about Jehovah's Witnesses? Okay, well, we'll sample some of that. And they don't know what they're talking about. And then the white supremacists sit back, well, when it comes to all you dark-skinned people, you got one religion. And that's the religion that I say that you have. But I might say, depending on how I feel.
I'm sorry. Who he be cooking? You got one religion. And that's the religion I told you to believe. Nigga, I told you the Egyptians and the Greeks. I'm the one who told you what God looked like in Jesus. And whatever ham deception that you got in your brain, I'm giving it to you. If I tell you Jesus already came and died and went to heaven and came back and saved, then that's what you gonna believe. That's right. And you can construct whatever you want around my philosophy and my theory of time and what I think they was wearing and the clothes they had on. If I said Jesus wore them sandals, then that's what you gonna believe, boy. Ollie, don't laugh too hard, bro. I'm sorry. That's why I be going so hard. Wait a minute, bro. It's really a battle within oneself. I don't believe you. And I mean that.
Confusion. With our names on it. And we establish different type of churches and whatnot. Different church on every corner with a different name. Supposed to be the same religion, but we got a different church with a different name. Adding to the confusion. Go over here to the Protestant church. Oh, no, they don't know what they're talking about. Then go over here to the Catholic church. And, oh, no, they don't know what they're talking about. Well, what about Jehovah's Witnesses? Okay, well, we'll sample some of that. And they don't know what they're talking about. And then the white supremacists sit back, well, when it comes to all you dark-skinned people, you got one religion. And that's the religion that I say that you have. But I might say, depending on how I feel, that you will have all of them at once or none of the above.
I told you.
But you will bow down to one religion, and that's the religion of white supremacy. I don't care what you think in your heads, and you black people can argue all you want to in the barbershops over there on the colored side of town or in your millions of churches. You can scream and yell and stomp and holler, but when the white supremacists walk into your church and say, all of you, get on your knees to me, because I'm the one who feeds you, clothes you.
They niggas said, Massa, we foundationally black. Massa, we found one. We found the new rule that's going to convince more Negroes that we are slaves, sir. And we are foundationally dumbfounded and confused and ignorant of the law. Lord have mercy. Could you please take care of us? I'll make it seem like I made you do it. If you please, please.
Heads, and you black people can argue all you want to in the barber shops over there on the colored side of town
On 125th Street.
or in your millions of churches. You can scream and yell and stomp and holler, but when the white supremacists walk into your church and say, all of you, get on your knees to me, because I'm the one who feeds you, clothes you, shelters you, and even allows you to have a church on this corner rather than a parking lot. So you will do what I say, or you will feel my wrath. I'm your God. Don't you ever forget it. Yes, we need a code for everything. The white supremacists, if people will permit me to use that term, because I'm not going to move from it. I've had all kinds of suggestions down through the decades about, well, stop saying white supremacy. And I'm going to say, no, I'm going to say it because it works. When you actually use it, it works. You may not think that it works, but it works. White people don't like that term, even though they are the ones that gave it to me. I never heard this term, white supremacy, until I heard it from white people. They were bragging about the use of it. But I stick with what they're bragging about, because one thing, it's true, okay? Supreme just means a person can tell me what to do, and I don't know what to do about it, and I don't want to do it. But I still have to do it, because I don't know what to do about it. That's all supreme means. Okay, and if you base that on being white, and you're able to pull it off, then that's true. Now, I say in order to solve a problem, you first have to recognize it is a problem.
Yeah.
Even though the problem is more powerful than I am. I can't walk around in jail saying I'm not a prisoner, because it makes me feel better.
That's
Many
right.
black people want to feel better instantly. That is natural. I fully understand that. But if you're a prisoner of war and you decide while you're a prisoner, you know what? I'm going to stop calling myself a prisoner. I'm going to say that I'm a king. I ain't no prisoner. I'm a king. And that warden, he's the prisoner. Look, he's on the other side of the bars. See? So he's my prisoner. I got him in jail. That's why he's here. He's right here with me. And so that makes me feel better. Sure, that's a big temptation. But that doesn't motivate you to tear down them prison walls. See what I mean? Because that's what I'm trying to get to do. And that takes some courage. And that takes admission of the truth that we have been beaten. We're not just walking around doing whatever we want to do. The black people of this planet, we have already been beaten. But we need to get some adrenaline going to fight against the thing that has conquered us, because it's what? Evil. And it needs to be replaced. We're not just trying to survive in this system. No, we are trying to dismantle the entire system, or we should be. And anytime that's not our objective, then we have no business doing anything. Well, according to what I've written in the code book, black people are not qualified to celebrate anything. Prisoners are not in a celebratory condition. Black people are prisoners of war. The non-white people of the planet in the system of white supremacy were born in captivity. We're still born in captivity, all of us. Everybody of color on the planet is born in captivity. Captivity to whom? To racist man and racist woman, the white supremacists of this planet. You're born inside of their prison because they dictate what you do in all 9 areas of activity and what you don't do. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex,
and war. They dictate this to all of the non-white people on the planet. And so you have to think, speak, and act according to what they allow you to do. So you're in prison. And so you're not, prisoners are not qualified. They can go ahead and do it, but you're not qualified to celebrate anything. But the white supremacists love for their prisoners to celebrate everything, including being in prison. Celebrate that.
Yeah.
Okay? Have fun. Get out there in the prison yard, and I mean, hey, just turn flips and sing and dance and play banjo. Slaves are always encouraged to do this.
To act a fool.
Entertain yourselves. Entertain yourselves until you drop. But just be back on that job come Monday.
Yeah.
All right? Now, the white supremacists, just like they do with, I make this comparison because, lots of people like their dogs, but their dog is still a dog. You might put your dog in a fur coat and walk it out into the winter snow. And that dog is wearing an expensive fur coat. Fur coat made for dogs. Some people may do that. Why? Because they really favor their dogs. I won't say like, but they have, they just say, well, I want a dog, and it's my dog, so I'm going to treat my dog with great comfort. It's the same way with some white supremacists. They'll say, I'm going to take my Negro and put him in the finest clothes you ever want to see. I'm going to dress him up, and I'm going to, in fact, I'm going to have a show of several of my favorite black people. And I'm going to have them go around in a circle, and show off all their diamonds and their tattoos and their hairdos and all of this. I'm going to groom them well, just like I do the rest of my animals, my dogs, my horses, my other stable of other things, in order to do what? Embellish me. Say, hey, I am so wealthy that I can make my Negroes think that they are kings. Put them on a pedestal and have them prance around and show off particularly to other Negroes about all the wonderful things that they got from me. Racism itself is an insane proposition. What is racism? White supremacy. What is white supremacy? Mistreating people or treating people like they're criminals because of color.
Told you, he's giving it to you. Criminals. Black.
Also, you have, people in very high positions who say that if you're a person with black skin, you are a toilet.
Toilet, told you.
So what do you do to a toilet? The little girl is a toilet, okay, in the minds of the white supremacists. This is universal. That's what a black person is. A urinal, a toilet, a commode bowl. That's what that is walking down the street toward you. If you're white, you're taught that. That is nothing. That is something to be disdained. That's something to have off to the side somewhere. A Jiffy John, a portable toilet hidden over there in the trees. Hide that thing. That toilet. That's not anything to, that's not a shrine or anything. That's something that you hide. Even want people to see you going in there. All right? Okay. That's what these things that we have recognized, we call them, in order to make them feel better, we call them people, but that's not what they really are. They are less than animals. Even the animals we bring out and parade in the streets.
They are goyim. You get it? Who religious structure is that? I'll wait.
And whatnot, and show off, okay? And we'll do a few of them like that, a few of our chosen ones. But basically, when you're looking at a black person, You are looking at a commode. Walking down the street, that's what that is. And what do you do to a commode? You treat it like it's a commode. End of story. See, black people have to see themselves the way that the white supremacists see us every day when they pass us on the street. Here comes a toilet. That's what that is, a walking toilet. And if I have to relieve myself, that's the thing that I'm going to do it in.
Wow. Whew. In those situations, what can we, or what do we learn, from that, or how are we supposed to interpret that?
Interpret it just the way I saw it. I said it. See, when I walk down the street, I think that that's what they're thinking. Okay?
But does that make it true?
Exactly what they're thinking.
Okay.
If they're white supremacists, I shouldn't even be in existence. I'm just something that you tolerate in existence. I shouldn't even exist. I shouldn't be walking down the street taking up the sidewalk. That's why sometimes they almost walk right into you. I mean, move. My goodness. I'm a white person. Get out of my way. You're not supposed to be on this planet, Negro. What are you doing breathing? Where'd you come from? Who created you? Who would have the nerve to create something like you? I mean, who would make that kind of mistake? You're nothing but a walking mistake. My God, deliver me. But since you're here, I'll put up with you, but I ain't going to put up with you very much. That's it. That's the whole philosophy in the mind of a white supremacist. If we don't understand that, then we don't understand the world that we're in. Oh, very simple. By simply realizing that you're in a system of racism and you're in captivity. Now, that doesn't say anything about you can't be dignified if you want to be, but you are a dignified prisoner of war. And what's the difference between a dignified slave and a silly one? One is dignified and one is silly. But they're both prisoners of war once they are captured. See, you're a prisoner of war. Racism is war. It's war, the greatest war that was ever conducted among the people of what we call the planet Earth. There's no war that's been greater than the establishment and the maintenance and the refinement of the system of white supremacy. It's a continuation of a war, the greatest war that ever was. That's the war between those who believe in racism and those who don't. And so far, the racists have been winning that war. So it's just a matter of the people who are the victims of it realizing this and saying, well, we're going to fight against it. But we're in captivity already, so you got to fight. There's no such thing as fighting from the outside. There's no such thing as outside. So you fight from the inside of the prison. Like prisoners of war are always trying to escape the prison. But this is a prison that you can't escape from. You have to dismantle the prison itself and replace it with a system of justice. That's the goal. And what does justice mean? It means guaranteeing that no person realizing this and saying, well, we're going to fight against it. But we're in captivity already, so you got to fight. There's no such thing as fighting from the outside. There's no such thing as outside. So you fight from the inside of the prison. Like prisoners of war are always trying to escape the prison. But this is a prison that you can't escape from. You have to dismantle the prison itself and replace it with a system of justice. That's the goal. And what does justice mean? It means guaranteeing that no person is mistreated and guaranteeing that the person that needs help the most, like yourself, gets the most constructive help. That's not happening in the system of racism, and it won't happen.
So you won't get discouraged simply by realizing what your circumstances are, because now you have something to aim for. Get rid of the system of racism. That should be your reason for being. If you have any other priority, then it's not logical for you to be doing anything else. Everything that you're doing is supposed to be aimed toward replacing the system of racism with the system of justice. Why? Because it is the greatest oppressive system ever invented in the minds of people here on this planet. Nothing has been greater than that.
No, papi. I know black.
The white supremacists, because it's not just the white people who are not white supremacists do not have any power. They have already proven that. If the white people who are not white supremacists had power, then the white people who are white supremacists wouldn't be white supremacists, because the white people who are not white supremacists would use their power to put them out of business. They haven't done that. So it makes the white people who are white supremacists the most powerful people on the planet.
Okay.
And that's why we still have it. We wouldn't be having this conversation if it was different. It's no walls, really. It's just people. I mean, people changing their minds. And so it's the job of black people, first of all, to recognize that the biggest problem on the planet is the system of white supremacy, and to persuade one way or another, I say through codification, the white people who practice white supremacy to stop being white supremacists. They haven't built any walls. It's them. They are the wall. It's just what they do every day. Stop mistreating people based on color. That's all it is. All white supremacy is just a white person talking to another white person and saying, look at that person over there. And the other white person takes a look and say, yes, I see that person over there. Say, does that person have color in his or her skin? Yes, that person has color in his or her skin. Well, now, we have an agreement that when we look at a person who has color in his or her skin, that person is eligible to be dominated and mistreated by the two of us. Is that agreed upon? And the other white person says, yes, agreed upon. Let's shake hands and let's proceed to go toward that person of color and proceed to dominate and mistreat that person of color. Why? Because we have decided to do so. Now, just like they decided to do so, they can undecide to do so, decide to do something else, like replace this system as they're set up with justice. It's the job of every non-white person and every white person who doesn't believe in that system to work every day to replace that system with a better system. That better system would be called justice. Straight answer, by talking just the way we're talking now. That's it. They allow us to do that. Now, at a certain point, when it starts taking effect, you can expect them to stop us from doing that. Us meaning what I'm doing right now. The reason the white supremacists, logically speaking, allow Neely Fuller to say the things that he's saying is because they don't look at Neely Fuller. The white supremacists learned a long time ago, before I was born. You don't have to pay attention to a spokesperson, a person that's speaking. Pay attention to the reaction of the people who are listening. And if the people who are listening are not changing anything that they are doing, so what? See, the white supremacists are pure scientists. They are very scientific people. They don't let their emotions dominate the science like non-white people do. We get fired up on emotion and forget all about logic. The white supremacists are surgical in their thinking. That's why they're successful at every move they make.
Wow.
And it has the non-white people. So therefore, they walk into a place and they will see a speaker a black speaker talking to thousands of people.
Okay.
But they'll listen to the black speaker for a few minutes, but mostly they study the reaction of the people who are listening. And if the people who are listening all file away, all walk away, and do not change as a result of what was said, the white supremacists say business as usual.
So
they study the reaction of the people who are listening. They don't care anything about the speaker at all. You know, the black people applaud, you know, black speakers all over the place. And as far back as there have been black spokesperson or black, what we call black leaders, which is really a misnomer, you know. But black people speak all the time. Neely Fuller's speaking. So what? If nobody listens and acts on what he's saying, the white supremacists do not care. They don't care how many radio programs you have, how many TV programs. You can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
Well, wait.
But if black people still hold on to what I started this program with, hold on tenaciously to what we call black culture, the white supremacists said, I invented black culture. That's what the white supremacists say. Black culture is nothing but a reaction to me. That's all it is. And it's a very sorry reaction. It has 4 components: primitive, pitiful, stupid, and or silly. Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. 2 people you named.
Yes.
What happened to them?
They got killed.
You better believe it. That's what happens to anybody who starts taking effect.
Okay.
Now, everybody who's still breathing, including Neely Fuller, they ain't effective. All right? They kill you when you're effective.
I got you, yeah.
All right. I mean, in other words, Neely Fuller's supposed to be digging his grave. As long as he's breathing, he knows that he's not effective, because the white supremacists will take you out of here in a minute. I mean, they got millions of ways of doing it, not just 1 or 2. I mean, there are a few people that didn't even get off the ground, like Patrice Lumumba.
Yes.
I mean, it didn't last no time.
No.
All right? Why? Because the Congo is real important to the white supremacists.
Ooh-wee.
And they don't ever intend, anytime soon, apparently, for anything constructive to happen among the black people in what we call the Congo. And they didn't waste no time getting rid of Patrice Lumumba.
No.
And even the person that helped them to get rid of Patrice Lumumba. And that was Moise Shambi. He didn't last no. Suddenly got cancer. See, talking about chemical warfare or whatever, or disease warfare. Moise Shambi suddenly got cancer out of nowhere. And I think that's happened to several other people. Oh, respectful. Let's deal with that. Well, according to what I have written myself, it's impossible for anybody to give me respect. That can't be done anyway. Respect. There's another word that goes before the word respect, according to the code. And that word is, it's a 4-letter word. S-E-L-F.
Okay.
Self-respect. Now, self-respect is what I give to myself. That's the only type of respect that's worthy of the term respect. Whenever you say respect, you're talking about self-respect. So self-respect comes from yourself. Now, what is the definition, the compensatory definition for self-respect? All right, according to the code, and it's in the code book, self-respect is, or respect itself is, just one thing: refusing to lie to yourself. Don't tell yourself lies. You've thrown respect out the window. There's no respect involved nowhere when you go around telling yourself things that are not true, that you know are not true. Now you have lost self-respect. And you don't ever, another thing about respect, use of the word respect. Words are very important. You never ask anyone to respect you. There's 3 things you don't ask for. You never ask for respect, you never ask for an apology, and you never ask for love, ever,
Okay.
from anybody, ever. Don't let those words ever come out of your mouth that you ask somebody to respect you. Respect comes from yourself. It doesn't come from somebody else. Other people can be discourteous and all like that. That's on them. That has nothing to do with you. You don't care what they say. Let them shout, curse, throw things at the wall, whatnot.
Now y'all see this, right? What I put up was the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution abolished slavery, right? But it included an exception. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist. It declares except as punishment for a crime. That's when you became outlaws.
I mean, that's their business. And that's a part of what you call
Remember
compensatory
what the
compensation.
librarian said. The 13th Amendment stripped them. The 14th Amendment allowed for the genocide. Remember that.
And control. Okay. Yes.
And who facilitated
You're-
the 13th and 14th? It's written in their laws. Who facilitated that? The government. And what is that? And what is this? And who enforced it? The Ku Klux Klan Act, which was supposed to get away from the Ku Klux Klan. No, they enforced the provisions of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution. But we'll get to what that is. Lord have mercy.
If you beg somebody for respect, please respect me. Please apologize to me. Please love me. These things, for one thing, respect only comes from yourself, and apologies and love is something that people give voluntarily. Those other two things, apologies and love. You never ask anybody for an apology. Why? According to logic. Because it doesn't mean anything if you have to ask for it.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, it's when people come to you and say, I apologize for what I said to you the other day. That's when it has value.
Okay.
When you have to beat a person over the head and say, apologize to me, or I'm going to inflict injury on you, I'm going to say terrible things about you, or I'm going to do something to you, you better apologize. But person say, okay. I apologize. I apologize for slavery, all right? I apologize for all the things I'm going to do to you next week or this evening. And in fact, I will load you up with with apologies. I mean, and you'll have them in advance. How many do you need? That's a directive, a suggestion. On page 108 of the revised expanded edition of the textbook for victims of white supremacy. Use words as scientific weapons. That's a suggestion that I made as a remedy to helping to remedy the disease of white supremacy.
Now watch this. Now, why did I say the 14th Amendment? Because it allowed them to prevent you from life, liberty, or property without due process of the law, because no man should deny a person within his jurisdiction the equal protection of the law. But if you black, you don't have any under protection of the law. You have the same protection as would a lifer and criminal. You ever see that movie Life? Yes. I don't want to hear about it wasn't properly ratified. The 13th Amendment was properly ratified. You just have a misconception, okay? The U.S. Constitution was to protect its citizens, not to be amended. The U.S. Constitution is the only amendment. It wasn't to be amended after amended and properly ratified. Properly ratified upon who? For who? White supremacy. Oh, it was properly ratified. It's still in play. You want me to believe it was everything is done by accident. No, sir. You follow the law. This is why the law is important. Okay? This is why the law is important. So there is no accident. And ignorance and accidents of the law is not a defense. See, a white supremacist would say it hadn't been properly ratified. Of course, because you were born a Nazi or something. No, it was properly ratified. It's made. The 94 crime bill is keep them criminals. Did you hear Joe Biden? Even if they hadn't committed a crime, it's been properly ratified. You just being a Nazi and not paying attention to black plight and the genocide that's went on in the 90s. In the war against, they got a war on drugs so the police can bother me. You was just bobbing your head to the beat. You're not ready to hear the plight of a true African American because it's upsetting to find out what you and your family have done, what you've agreed to, the Ku Klux Klan Act, and to enforce the provisions of the 14th. Well, if you enforcing the provisions, or are you capturing niggas who are illegally outside or illegally black in law, so they wouldn't, when you're dealing with convict leasing, press one, it becomes the biggest enslaver on earth. We got it already. This is what allowed convict leasing. This is what made you a criminal. This is what put the black and white. See, they just talking. They just like to come up with catchphrases that they've been allowed to say on the internet without any get back. But Kev and his team is right here. It's all about, this is the genocide, family. Hit the like button and subscribe.
Use words as scientific weapons. Because
look, use words as scientific weapons. Listen to them. Because white supremacy is hidden in science. Ain't that what I've been teaching people? Yes. It's racist science.
What they do, study and use words, the definition of words, and or the production of words in such a manner as to cause the white supremacists to decide to do one of two things.
Get busy. Press the white button. Here it go.
In other words, this should be, for victims of white supremacy, your intermediate goal toward the production of universal man and universal woman. And there's two things that you set as a goal when you start out in resisting white supremacy.
Go ahead.
Trying to eliminate it and replace it with justice. And that is, number one, replace white supremacy with justice.
Yes.
Between people, or kill all of the non-white people of the known universe.
Press the button. Press one. See? Press the button. Come. Go. Do it. I see you in science. I have figured out your code of ethics is genocide and total annihilation. I can prove it. So press the button. Y'all never understood why I was saying press the button? Press it. Because that's what comes with the truth.
Now, that's what you are trying to force the white supremacists to do.
To do what?
In universal woman.
Say it
and
again.
there's two things that you set as a goal.
I never asked for no favors, nigga.
In resisting white supremacy and trying to eliminate it and replace it with justice.
Why you think I said wrong one? Wrong one.
That is, number one, replace white supremacy with justice between people, or kill all of the non-white people of the known universe. Now, that's what you are trying to force the white supremacists to do. Why? Because whatever you do to oppose them, if they're not going along with it, that's what they're going to do anyway.
That's right.
They're going to kill all the non-white people of the known universe. You want to put them in that position where they have to make that decision.
Do it.
Either replace the system
or get to
racism with justice.
Or get to it.
That's one thing they can do, because that's what you're trying to force them to do, or persuade them to do. And the other thing...
See, I was waiting on the Nazi salute. That's what y'all don't understand. That was the omen Kev was waiting on. Do it. Do it. I wasn't surprised at none of that. Do it.
if they
He
can't
with his mama do it. He with his mama doing. Okay.
do that or don't want to do it, you force them or persuade them to actually kill all of us, the non-white people of the known universe. And it's logical because if you're opposing something that doesn't want to be moved, you leave them with no other option.
Huh.
That's what you want to do.
Checkmate.
Leave them with no other option.
Don't they got a movie called The What? All right, let's get to it. I'm sorry, y'all. I will put everybody at risk. I'm G14 classified. Y'all probably had birthday presents and baseball games to attend to coming up. Y'all probably got all type of little football, the games, roller skating. Press the button. Press the goddamn button. I dare you. I want you to. Stupid. Because I got you. All of you. That's right. So believe in your hellish God and press the button, nigga. You not ready to go. Oh. Y'all ready to go to Mars. See, I thought y'all was ready. Not ready, nothing. You gonna get in the spaceship, just like they just tried to do, fly outer space, just like I said they was gonna do years ago, and hit the wall, bam, and blow up in the sky. Now, how you know those people even exist? How you know that rocket didn't have, nigga, your favorite celebrity? How you know they wasn't trying to get to Mars and blew the fuck up? Press what? They ain't going nowhere. You're not going nowhere. You're not escaping judgment. You're not flying out the firmament. You're not getting out, going to heaven and flying there, shooting rockets. Nowhere. You're not flying to a different planet. I know you want to believe that. And that's cool. But you ain't going nowhere. We wasn't allowed to go nowhere.
Try to narrow down the number of options that they have when you try to persuade and or force the white supremacists of this universe to stop being white supremacists.
Huh?
You're there. So if you're going to replace the system of white supremacy, that's number one. The logical thing that you would replace it with is a system of justice, because the system of white supremacy is a system of non-justice.
That's right.
Correct.
It guarantees it. Now, if they don't want to do justice, then that leaves them with one other option.
What's that?
Which is?
Genocide.
To kill all of the non-white people of the planet.
My every move is a calculated step to bring me closer to embracing early death. Do it, my German comrades. You know what this is. You know what this is. The greatest loop-de-loop of all time.
And here's why you force them to do this, or rather, this is the suggestion that I'm making. Suppose they say, well, we're not going to do justice. So that leaves us one other option, because we're sick of you black people.
Come on.
We're just sick of you.
Go ahead.
We're sick of you.
Go ahead.
I mean, you're not going to do what we say, so, hey, make the rubber meet the road. I mean, either you fall in line and keep doing what we say do, which is be subordinate to an unjust system.
Oh, come on.
Or I'm going to kill all of you. So how do you respond to that type of ultimatum? You say, okay, go ahead and do it.
Do it.
You said you're going to do it, do it.
Do it, motherfucker.
You got the muscle to do it.
Do it.
Like in The Godfather. Frank D'Angelo was talking to Michael Corleone and said, hey, hit us while you got the muscle, because you do have the muscle. You can kill all of the black people on this planet. You can actually kill them all. The white supremacists can do that. And all we can do is just try to run and hide and fight the best way we can, run all over the place like chickens with no heads, because we wouldn't know where to go to escape it. There's no certain place, there's no, designated place where we can flee to. That's clear of anybody who has, thought about it and given it serious thought. If you have white supremacy, they can go any place, not only on this planet, but maybe on other planets. So on this planet called Earth, if the white supremacists decide that they are going to slaughter, have a mass slaughter, set a date, actually announce it, say that, hey, find a place to run and hide, and to make it sporting, because the white supremacists love to make killing a sport. That's why they write all these murder mysteries and whatnot. That's why they entice black people to make movies about killing, okay? I mean, kill is a sport. Killing people is a sport in the system of white supremacy. It's a great form of entertainment, a massive form of entertainment. So they'll just say, let's make this entertaining, all right? You black people love entertainment. Well, we can entertain you with a lot of killing,
like Chicago and DJ Academics. Hey, y'all see what happened in the war in Chirac, where the super goons of O Block is doing this one? Man, FBG better catch up. This is like they dropping bodies and making the score go up 22-21, and it's only halftime. It's not even summer yet. All it is, all of it, is rat race, murder, amusement. From Little Dirt to King Von to Nipsey Hussle to all of this. This is insane that he was even breaking this down.
we have been doing, and you can get a lot of entertainment yourself by dying from our killing. But we're going to make a sport out of it by saying, say this is January, give you a year to find a place to hide and to get your guns ready and everything. We'll make a sport out of it, you know. And then we'll say, okay, you ready? Okay, because this is January the 1st of the next year. This is kickoff time, so we're coming after you. And we're going to kill you wherever we find you. Babies, everybody. Everybody black, you're going. The wagon is coming today.
I told you they playing. Guess what? You're going. I seen it with me own eyes, mate. The wagon will be. You see how he broke down history? Do you see what he's saying? Man, I gave y'all a new spectrum. I've opened your eyes so you can see exactly what they're saying. You understand exactly what he's saying. I just showed y'all the wagons. We just talked about convict Lisa. You're going, bro, to the camps, bro. You're going to prison. You're going to be black, whether you like it or not. Ready to go? You here with them watching Purge movies, not understanding what none of this is. They did this. They purged Tulsa. And you're playing Mr. Success Builder. They're playing. They're trying to pick and choose what's the best day to fight, how to fight, what's the best way. Best nigga, knowledge is power, first and foremost. Let's get to it.
January the 1st of this particular year that they designate, and everybody agrees on. They're coming after you. Fight the best way you can. Run the best way you can. Hide the best way you can. But we are, when we find you, are going to kill you, and it ain't nobody coming to your rescue because nobody got that kind of muscle. Now, this is exactly what black people are supposed to be trying to force the white supremacists of this planet to do, or do justice. Number one is to do justice. That's what we really should want. That's what I want.
Yes.
But they may decide, no, we're not doing justice under no circumstance. We're not going to give you. No, we're not doing justice. We're not in the business of doing justice. So we got another option. If you're not going to fall in line with what we've been doing all the time, we're going to kill you all. So I say, do it. And there are a lot of black people who say, well, don't invite that. You know, it's not an invitation. It's what they're going to have to do anyway. I don't care how you approach it if they're not going to do justice. Otherwise, we have to put up with justice into injustice, non-justice, into infinity.
I understand that. It just seems to me like, how can you continue a battle that nothing, that you had nothing to do with, and like you said, if it's been started like when my buddy Josh's grandparents, it happened to them. But like I said, to my best knowledge, it never happened to us. We grew up in the same place. We hung around the exact same people. We weren't treated any different than the white kids, and I just have a hard time with it now when I go home and see him, that now all of a sudden he's I don't even have a words, but
he's what? What is it he's doing? He's saying something about racism?
Yeah, and it's it's been in his family for years, and so now he's got an attitude even against some of the guys we hung out with when we were little, and he just brings it up, and it's like I said, until we were 17, 18 years old, it never happened to us, but he's making it sound like he's got to take over a fight that maybe his grandparents had a long time ago.
Okay, well let's look at your associate Josh. Could it be that what he's saying, he's not making it up, and he's not talking about the past? Could it be possible that he's talking about something he's looking at right now, and that what he is saying is that he sees it, but that you don't? Is that possible?
Absolutely.
Well, see, that could be the case. Now, it could be like you said, that he's making it up, but I don't think he's making it up, because I see it too. And I've always seen it. I've never been in a situation where I didn't see it. Now, if I was looking for it and it wasn't there, then that's something different. And I've heard people say that, saying, well, I'm looking at the same thing that you're looking at, but I don't see what you see. And I say, yes, I know. That's the treachery of the way racism works. And sometimes you can be looking at it, and I have this in the book that I wrote. In racial matters, many look, but few see. See what? See what they're looking at. You're looking at it, but you don't see it. Like an optical illusion.
But if you're constantly looking for it, then, that's like they say.
So, but you can only see it if it's there. Otherwise, you are making it up, in which case nobody should do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you're telling me just a second ago that you look for it. Well, if you're looking to see if something is racist, you're constantly, you got blinders on. You're looking for it, and you'll take any little, section of conflict or whatever and say, oh, that's racism. That's not because of, his bad attendance. That's racism. Because that's what you're looking for, is what it sounds like.
But see, the thing that I claim, that when I do look for it, I see it. Because it is there. But it's not supposed to be there. That's the key. It's not supposed to be there.
But you're looking.
No matter how hard I look, I'm not supposed to ever find it. Because it's not supposed to be there. Racism should not exist. That's the whole point. Just like cancer should not exist. See, now I can look past cancer, I can not recognize it deliberately, or I can recognize it deliberately, but I make up my mind that I'd rather not think about it, so therefore if I don't think about it and I'm not feeling the pain directly at that moment, because I'm laughing about something, like a cancer patient has laughed, but the cancer patient still has cancer. See what I mean? So racism is the same way. Black people laugh all the time. They're the laughingest people in the world, collectively. Nobody laughs like black people. In fact, there's more jokes made about laughing black people than anything else. Even in the old days, when it was right in your face, this thing called racism, black people laughed more then than they do now. Black people were the biggest jokesters because they were trying to hide the pain. That's why. But over a period of years, they laughed less and less as the pain began to go away because they were laughing at the pain. They were trying to laugh off the pain. And now, a lot of us try to put on the blinders to not see what is causing a world problem. Now, a person can look at President Obama and say, he doesn't really have a problem, like President Obama said himself, said, I'm trying to get health care for the people that don't have it. See, I have health care. Me and my whole family. I will never have to worry about health care. I will get top of the line health care. I already know that. He said, I'm trying to get it for the people that don't have it.
By
He
taking
said, so if you're talking about me individually, he said, yes, I got health care, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not supposed to be concerned about other people not having it. See what I mean? So racism is the same way. There are some people who say, well, I've been able to skirt it, and I've been able to get by, and I've been able to do this. In the neighborhood that I was brought up in, I was able to shield myself from it. But see, the fact that you shield yourself from it means that it's there. And it shouldn't be there for you to shield yourself from it. I mean, that's the whole purpose, because when you try to move away, just like in the case of your friend Josh, when you try to reconnect with him, he's been hit by it, full force, and his behavior shows it. And that saddens you, but that's a fact. And the reason it's a fact is because he ran into it when he just moved just a little bit, and it hit him full force. Really, it had him full force all the time, and that's when it's really painful.
So are you saying that you have never been mistreated because you're not white?
Not that I know of. I mean, I've had things with, many people, and I mean, granted, there's always some bonehead, but that, that, whether he's black or white, it doesn't matter to me. I've come across, boneheads, but I find myself finding more of my own, quote, brothers that would do me wrong more so than the white guys that I hang out with.
And I can see why that would be, because that's the effect that racism has. The very fact that when you interact with black people, they are hostile toward you, or they mistreat you, and they you don't get the kind of reaction that you should get from people when those people are black. And there's a reason for that. They've been affected by racism to the extent that nobody would want to be around them. And that makes sense, because the system of racism itself produces black people that nobody wants to be around, including other black people. That is the effect of racism itself. That's not just something that happened because black people have this peculiarity about them that makes them into monsters and monstrosities. No, that's a system that does that. So black people, by the nature of being under the system of white supremacy, are made into creatures that nobody wants to be around, including the black people themselves. They don't want to be around each other and can hardly stand themselves. But since you got to be with yourself, there's nowhere else to go. I mean, if you are you, you're you. So what can you do? And so therefore you turn that outwardly, because there's nowhere else but to turn it inwardly, in which case you would be suicidal all the time, which is what black people really are. But we just don't go that extra step. Black people are very suicidal because black people cannot stand themselves. They can't stand other black people, and they can't stand themselves. Because when they look at other black people, they see themselves. And they can't stand what they see. Because we have already been made into creatures that are unworthy of being around anything. But the system did that. We weren't born like that. We were all born as little wide-eyed, curious children. But we were turned into monsters and monstrosities. I myself am a monstrosity. The very fact that I'm having this conversation in 2009 proves that I'm a monstrosity. What's a monstrosity? A monstrosity is a creature that is out of sync, out of balance. A person who is in the midst of a whole bunch of problems that can't be solved, or apparently aren't being solved. That's a monstrosity. I'm one. When you produce poison, you get some of it on it yourself. That, going back to the way this program started today and the way it starts on many occasions, we start with that scene from The Godfather. What did The Godfather say, sitting there at the table with Barzini and the Italians? and the rest of the criminal families, he said, this drug business, it will destroy us. Said, you're talking about keeping it among the black people up there in Harlem, among the coloreds. Let them destroy themselves. They're nothing but animals anyway. That's what you're saying. But you don't understand the nature of drugs. The next thing you know, our own children will be using it. And that's what I don't want to be a part of. That's what Don Corleone was saying to the Barzinas and the Tatalias. And that's what happens in the system of white supremacy. But the system of white supremacy also is set up on a percentage basis, so that the real smart white supremacists have said, oh, yeah, of course, we're going to have some white sacrifices in our army. We're going to have to sacrifice some of our own people. Some of our own children are going to get caught up in nonsense, but we will still have the basic power. We will never let those black people start doing anything constructive on a scale where we can't control them. So we will do it on a percentage basis. For every 10,000 of them who is all messed up, we will probably have maybe a couple of thousand or maybe 500 of our own that are all messed up. But percentage-wise, we are always hold the power, hold the reins of what goes on in the world. Cost of doing the business of white supremacy is going up simply because most of the dark people, or many of the dark people on the planet now are becoming smarter and more constructive than they ever have been before. So the more constructive, the smarter, and that's what you mean by smart in a constructive sense rather than a destructive sense. Many people all over the world now, when you look at the dark-skinned people of the world, the non-white people, many of them are beginning to think about doing something, breaking away from their old habits and doing something constructive and thinking constructively, trying to learn how to do things that will have a constructive result. Now, this is always bad for the criminal enterprise called white supremacy. This is always very, and thinking constructively, trying to learn how to do things that will have a constructive result. Now, this is always bad for the criminal enterprise.
Now look at that on the screen. What are the odds? Wow. You know what this brother, this white man just did? He just passed out love to the audience. He did not just do this. Press one. He just passed out love. Like Elon Musk did. That's not a mean symbol. That means love to hearts. Press one.
Or white supremacy. This is always very foreboding to them. But they have got to modify what they do because they are being forced to. So that means more white sacrifices. So you'll see more white people out here doing simple-minded things, but not on such a grand scale that the entire system of white supremacy comes apart.
Interesting.
If it starts heading toward that tipping line, see, they know where that tipping line is. They will open up on black people like you wouldn't believe.
What do you mean by when you say open up?
I mean open up with wholesale violence to put us in our place. Say, look, you're getting too far out of hand now. You are not supposed to be a constructive people. So I am going to drop a bomb on you or whatever it is. But you are not going to be a constructive.
Wow. Was he kicking bars? Wow. So I'm just going to drop this on y'all. Not supposed to be this damn constructive.
I mean open up with wholesale violence to put us in our place. Say, look, you're getting too far out of hand now. You are not supposed to be a constructive people. So I am going to drop a bomb on you or whatever it is. But you are not going to be a constructive people. As long as you are destructive, fine. As long as you are doing what you do in Rwanda and what these gangs do over here in this area of the world and all like that, just running around with machetes and whatnot, slaughtering each other, no problem. We love that. That's entertainment for us. as long as you're using drugs and selling drugs to each other and glorifying it and all like that and then killing each other because of the drugs, that's fine. As long as you're riding around on bicycles or drive-by shootings and whatnot and robbing people and whatnot, I mean, that's fine. We all endorse that. That's what we want you to do. You're nothing but trash anyway. We will want to see you a trashy people. We don't want to see you doing anything constructive unless it's something constructive for us, we white supremacists, because we will make you do what is constructive for us. This is why the pretty buildings and the pretty neighborhoods are all where we are. You know that because we see to it that it's that way. But wherever you are, we want you to just tear it up, break it up, put graffiti all over the place, write graffiti even on yourselves in the form of what they call tattoos. Just walk around looking like zombies. I mean, just wild, broken glass, broken heads, broken bodies, yellow tape all over the place, blinking lights. Wherever you find black people, you see, as soon as it gets dark, blinking lights all over the place. Cartridges, 9mm lying all over the place with yellow circles around them. How many shots were fired?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what you call the typical black life. That's black culture. That's black culture at its very best, and that's which means that it's just about all of black culture. Wherever you go in the world, that's what you'll see. Whenever you see black people, this is what you're going to see. Nothing constructive going on at all. That's the way we want it. And when they start showing signs of being constructive, oh, that's bad for our business. That's bad for our business.
So that's not a good business model for white supremacy.
No, that's not a business model for black people at all. No, they are breaking out of their, no, we can't have that. They're doing something constructive. Get down there and start some mess. As fast as you can. And we know how to do that.
That's heavy.
We white supremacists. Well, the white supremacists do all sorts of things, but there's one thing you can count on. If a white person believes in white supremacy, there's one thing you can count on. They do not make any move of any kind, ever, unless it's going to add strength to the system of white supremacy. And they are so deceitful at making these moves. They're the best checker players ever when it comes to racism, okay, and counter-racism. They know what moves black people are going to make before black people even think about making the move, all right, because after all, they raised us, if you can call it raising. I mean, we haven't had no teacher other than them, okay? So they give us all our values. They tell us that a pair of shoes is more important than a black person's existence. All you got to do is put a label on the side of it, and you can get that black person killed this evening. Right by his own schoolmate will kill him. Not for the shoes, because he's already wearing shoes. It's for the label that's on the shoes. You will die. You will die a miserable death by the hand of somebody that lives 3 blocks from you. Where you find black people on the planet, we will slaughter each other because the white supremacists say, kill him for that pair of shoes that I gave you, boy. You know, I knew when you walked out of here that was your death sentence. I sold you those shoes for $700, and I figured by the time you got halfway where you're going to be dead. I already knew that when I sold you the shoes, and I knew who was going to kill you, all right? And I'm going to get a 2 for today. And I knew that I was going to get the guy that killed you. So, I mean, I got to get rid of 2 of y'all today, real easy, and make you pay for it. That's what I've been saying all down through the years, and I hope that it catches on. I hope that people understand it, because we are not trained by the white supremacists, and they're not going to. There'll be a universe within ourselves as individuals, because they know that anytime we try to get what we call a group together, oh, that's tailor-made for them. They can bust that up in 5 minutes, all right? All you need is a 2 or 3 black people to get together and call themselves anything. Put a label on it, and so that already you have separated yourself from all the other black people just by doing that. They already know that. So they know the science of how people think, okay? They're good at it, okay?
because they have been through all of this among themselves. They have run tests on these things among themselves. White people kill each other running tests. They know more about murder than anybody. They know about manipulating people than anybody, the white supremacists, that is. So therefore, they will say that, hey, you know, if you're going to get a little group together to fight me, I'll help you build a group. At a certain point, I'll wait until and see if you can halfway got it together. Then I'll examine how your group operates. Then I will compromise your group, either by sealing it off from the rest of the people, because you've halfway done the job for me, just by having that label, all right? I mean, you know, the black people will look at look at black people who are in a group, who have formed a group, and the white supremacists already know that we're going to attack that group. Why don't they do something? They ain't solving my problems. I ain't joining them, all right? See, so the white supremacists know they got division right there. And that's solid, too. That group ain't going nowhere. But it's one thing, just like you just said, because that's the theory I have, that has yet to be proven, by the way. That's why I say it's a concept. That if you empower each individual person with a code of behavior, you will solve the problems of each individual person with that code of behavior. And there's absolutely no defense against it. That's not my concept. That's the concept that comes with the universe. If you empower each individual to solve his or her problems according to a code, you have empowered and solved the problems of all individual persons. And the white supremacists, when they come after everybody, they don't know who to pick to start with, because they're going to have to get everybody. And that's the position you want to put them in. The position of, we got to either do justice for the non-white people, for really all the people of this entire planet, or we're going to have to kill all of these non-white people. We're going to have to kill them all. And when you're subject to a system where the system is designed to be insulting, and that's the system of racism, and all non-white people are subject to that system, that's my evaluation, then you can expect to be insulted each and every day, either directly or indirectly, even when you don't think you're being insulted, even when the insulting language is not used. You're still being insulted by being subject to an insulting system, because the system of racism is insulting, and that's the only system that we've ever known. And when I say we, I mean the people who are classified as non-white. The white supremacists, and that's the correct title for them, of this planet, are the dominant political and religious force and economic force, if you want to use the term economics. I don't use it within that context, but they are the dominant people on the planet when it comes to non-white people. So non-white people can expect. We shouldn't get jolted when we're insulted or call names, anything like that. You can't, there's no way to pretty it up anyway. And when people do try to pretty up an incorrect system, then they are going more into the realm of illusion. And that is going to engender more frustration, confusion, and ultimately disappointment and anger. Because you can't walk around trying to evade reality. We're in a racist system. We're not in any other system. Racism is not something that people encounter every now and then. We're in a racist system. The entire system is racist. There's no part of the system that is not racist. In every area of activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Now what does that mean? It means that the people who have chosen to be racist, meaning white supremacists, have become the most powerful political and religious people on the planet when it comes to non-white people. People who are classified as black, brown, red, yellow, tan, beige, etc., etc. And so therefore, that's an insulting system. And so black people have gotten to the place, particularly in the modern times, since what we call the post-chattel slavery, black people expect to be respected. That's why black people kill each other, many of them, many of the younger black people more than anybody, about this thing called dissing or being disrespected. You're in a disrespectful system, and all the killing that black people do among each other all the time, saying you're disrespecting me, therefore I have to kill you so that you won't disrespect me anymore. And then you run right into the same thing again and again and again. How many bodies can you stack up? Because you are being disrespected in a disrespectful system. If you're classified as black, you're not supposed to be respected. You're on a slave ship. The entire planet is a slave ship. It's not called that, but that's basically what it is. And the destination of that ship is just its own destination, meaning subjugation to the system of racism. There's no black person anywhere on the planet who is not subject to the system of racism. So you wake up in the morning, go through the day, and go to bed that night, and all through the night while you're asleep, you're being disrespected. You're being insulted because you have been put into a prison based on your color. That is one of the biggest insults, not only that a person can receive, but it's really a slap in the face and an attempted insult to the creator of the universe. But the white supremacists don't care about that. They don't mind insulting the creator of the universe. They'll say, I don't like your creation. You made all these black, brown, red, and yellow people and put them among me. I'm supposed to have the planet to myself. And since they're here, though, I will insult them and I will kick them around. Your product, even though I am your product, I don't want to be bothered with these other products that you made. So actually, they are not only at war with the black people of this planet, they're at war with their creator and with ours. Unless I've been misinformed. Something that is very destructive. Whatever is going to cause destruction is evil. That's basically it.
Okay.
Now, everybody is capable of doing something that is destructive. And the white supremacist wants to emphasize destructive activity, evil activity, something that's going to always have a non-constructive result among dark-skinned people. This is their goal. They don't want to see non-white people doing anything that's constructive. They panic when they see that. If you're doing anything that makes sense, they practically lose their minds. No, we can't have them like that. We got to have them in a state of mind where they're doing stupid stuff all the time, destructive stuff all the time. Anytime that you look up and dark-skinned people are coming around, something very ugly is going to happen, because they're going to make ugly things happen because we teach them to do ugly things, and we want to keep them in that frame of mind. If we lose that grasp on being able to control their behavior in a manner that they are non-constructive, except when we want them to be constructive. When we want them to be constructive for our benefit, then we'll allow them to do something constructive. But when they're among each other, see to it, watch them real close, and see to it that they don't do anything constructive. Because when they do something constructive, it means we are out of business. And we don't intend to be out of business. And what is our business? Mistreating people based on color. That's our business. That's our reason for being. That's our only reason for wanting to even breathe or be on the planet. What is the purpose of white supremacy?
mistreating people based on color for the fun, glory, and material benefit of people who are classified as white. That's the purpose of white supremacy in the modern day. Initially, it may have been another purpose, like genetic survival. But now they have been on such a roll for so long, it's for fun, glory, and material gain for the benefit of people classified as white, and for the complete confusion, destruction, and self-destruction among people classified as non-white. That's how they think the entire planet should be run forever. Well, anybody who adopts that, that's a weak adoption, I would say, through counter-racist codified logic. So for black people, rite of passage means you need to pass out from under the system of racism. That should be the black rite of passage. I mean, even these fraternities and sororities that believe in beating up on people and whatnot and taking them through some type of ritualized rite of passage by beating them or calling them names or taking them through some type of test. That is insane. They ought to stop doing it, those that are still doing it. That should be an absolute no-no. An absolute no-no. That is completely insane. And you don't teach people that type of thing and do it under the banner of some type of sophistication. That this is some type of advancement, some type of civilizing process. It absolutely is not. And beating up on the females, which is a tribal custom among a whole bunch of black people worldwide, needs to stop this very minute. This very minute. And repeating what I said just a few minutes ago, you black males, you're not qualified. I don't care how you strut around talking about you were great kings and queens. I mean, going back to the pyramids and all this kind of... Stop shamming. Stop shamming. You're not fooling anybody but yourselves. And the white supremacists are laughing at you. Laughing at all of us. You don't have a right to even talk harshly to a black female. You lost that. If you ever had it in the first place, and you shouldn't have had it, because why talk harshly to people? Why beat people? Well, this is my woman. You don't own anything because you don't own yourself. Come off of it. Somebody needs to say these things, and I'm saying them because they're true. And you got to start with the truth. And we can't handle the truth, even though we're always talking about keeping it real more than anybody. But we keep it real among ourselves, and that's a fantasy. Because when we're dealing with the white supremacists, we're nothing but little whimpering animals. That's it. We know that. But we don't have to remain that way. But you got to face the truth. When you've been beaten, you say you've been beaten. Every football player knows that. If he's going to win the next game, say you've been beaten. Say that your cornerback wasn't in the correct place. Say that the quarterback is no good. Say that you can't get into the end zone on no game, rather than keep fantasizing about, well, I had a dream last night and I made 100 touchdowns. So I'm going to go with my nightmare that I had rather than reality. I'm a loser. The way to become a winner is, first of all, acknowledge that you're losing. That's in gambling, that's in business, that's in football, it's in everything that makes sense on this planet. Depends on what you want. You're going to have to be very specific about what you want. And you're not going to get most of what you want, most likely, under these conditions. The conditions will not nourish what it is you want. We're not in a society where non-white people in their relationships with each other are given nourishing platforms. We're not given anything to help us to get along with each other. So don't expect it. See, disappointment comes from expectation. We are in a situation that should never have existed. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Everything is problematic in all of the 9 areas of activity. economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. So a black female, if I understand your question, cannot look forward to a constructive relationship with anybody. Because black people in general cannot look forward to that under this system. The system does not allow it. So all you can really do is minimize conflict. But you can't get it the way it ought to be. If you're looking for a companion, a husband, or something like that, just lower your expectations, because it's not likely to happen the way that it ought to be. In fact, the whole situation in which you exist is nowhere near the way it ought to be. So therefore, your relationship is not going to be the way it ought to be. This is why a lot of people say, well, I don't have time to think about this racist thing and all like that. I just got to get on with my life. That's the problem. You can't get on with your life, because racism is going to touch everything that you do, every move you make. And if you think you can have a relationship outside of racism, it's not going to happen if you're classified as non-white. It's not going to happen. And so any person that you pick for a partner and all like that is going to have some pluses and a whole lot of minuses. Now, some people have said they've.
And that's going to conclude this episode of Channel 54. I hope y'all enjoyed and got some info out of this lovely video. But again, if you haven't been in class or you've been playing around, you wasn't taking it serious. So a lot of people are not and haven't been, and that's not my fault, taking it serious. This is real. And that's all we've been uncovering here at KevRow University is dismantling white supremacy. They think I'm chasing titles or this one and that one. No, I'm G14 classified, getting to the meat and potatoes behind our enslavement, our concentration camp, our Holocaust, our prisoner of war situation we got here. So KevRow, I just ordered my food. It just got here. And hopefully I find some more videos and we can come back and watch another hour, 2 hour video. Maybe I can go back and find an old video of KevRow breaking down white supremacy once again. And we'll just come back and do it again. If not, I'll see y'all soon enough. And as always, I'll holla.